A warning is a morning is a wonderful blessing, either cloudy or sunny. It stands for hope, giving us another start of what we call life. A blissful morning to one and all present here. We welcome you immensely to our day 4 of Faculty Development Program on integrating yoga in higher education on the occasion of International Day of Yoga 2022, organized by Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. On this occasion, I would like to express our sincere gratitude towards organizing committee, chief patrons, Thiru A.N. Radhakrishnan, Chancellor Maher, Mrs. Jayanti Radhakrishnan, Rector Maher, Patron Professor Dr. R.S. Neelakandan, Vice Chancellor Maher, Additional Patron Professor Dr. C. Kritika, Registrar Maher, Convener Dr. Shyam Sivasamy, Director IQS Maher, Organizing Secretary Dr. R. Ilangovan, Professor and Head FYST, Co-Coordinators Dr. S. Murugesan, Dr. V. Subbulakshmi, Dr. G. Ramakrishnan, Associate Professors FYST, Mr. A. Annadurai, Assistant Professor FYST, and Organizing Committee members, PhD scholars, and students of FYST. Now I call upon Priyadarshini to grace us with a wonderful prayer.
Am I audible now? Om Sangachadvam Sambhadatvam Sambo Manasi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Sanjanana Upasate Sanjanana Upasate. Thank you.
Yoga has not limited to mere postures, rather it covered every aspect of human life. It has the means to resolving physical, mental, and spiritual problems, ultimately leading to the realization of the self. It is believed that when the body and spirit becomes weak, nothing can help except the higher forces. It is with this such an attitude we begin our today's session. Now I hand over the mic to Nalini.
Thank you, Pallavi. So now it is welcome address by Dr. V. Subbulakshmi, Associate Professor of Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. So before that, I would like to give a small introduction about her. Dr. Subbulakshmi Veriswamy, she served as Assistant Professor of Yoga for more than 4 years in India-China Yoga College, Yunnan Minzu University, and Kunming, People's Republic of China. She is selected and appointed by External Affairs Ministry, Indian Council for Cultural Relations. She conducted many workshops and presented papers across China to propagate yoga. Received Best Foreign Teacher Award from Minzu University and People's Republic of China. Previously worked at Research Department in Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, a leading yoga institute in Chennai. Currently, she is working as Associate Professor in Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research. Welcome you, ma'am, and over the session to you.
Thank you, Nalini. Good morning, everyone present here. On behalf of Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, I would like to welcome you all for the 4th day of Faculty Development Program on Integrating Yoga in Higher Education on the occasion of International Day of Yoga 2022, organized by Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research. I would like to welcome our esteemed guest speakers for today's FDP. I feel delighted in welcoming Shri S. Simon Anand Raj from Free Will Human Empowerment, Tirumullai Vayal, Chennai. Dr. R. Ilangovan, Professor and Head, Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, Maher. Dr. Michael Karaskovich, Member of American Institute of Architects, Royal Architectural Institute of Canada. Dr. Pramod Adi, Senior Spiritual Scientist, Senior Director in IT, Washington, DC, USA. Welcome you all our dignitaries and thank you for accepting our invitation and taking effort in making this program a great success with your insights. Also happy to welcome our organizing committee members, coordinators, PhD scholars and students of Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy. Finally, you, the participants, we are all very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those who are new to the FDP. Welcome each and every one of you present here. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you for the opportunity, sir, for welcoming all the participants and the dignitaries here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So now the session on communication skills by Shri S. Simon Anand Raj, who is the Free Will Human Empowerment from Tirumullai Vayal, Chennai. So before inviting our dignitary, I would like to give small introduction about him. Simon Anand Raj, sir, who is the strong motivational bilingual master trainer who empowered corporate and student community to overcome their self-limiting belief system and enrich them to lead a successful life. He is a strong corporate and educational coach with 20 years of work experience, from being a marketing executive to school counselor to banker to operations to administrator to L&D and much more, settling in training industry for past 10 years. He is an MBA graduate in training and development, and he upgraded with certification in English language training, career and course counseling, diploma in NLP and spirituality. His immense knowledge in life skills, soft skills, personality development, leadership skills, interpersonal relations, and man management helped thousands of professionals and student community to create and recreate their success stories. He is a successful and certified career and a course counselor, enriched thousands of students, lives in the process of understanding, analyzing, and finalizing their career and educational destination. His work experience: he started his career with state youth representative from 2000 to 2002, and he was in the banking and sales marketing sector. From 2000 onwards, he was a motivational speaker and group coordinator in Dell and life skills and student trainer. He was an effective career and course counselor, and currently he is the master trainer of freelance from 2014 to till now. He trained in manufacturing, service, IT years, BPO, KPO, almost all the sectors in the IT field, in the students community group or in the education field. He used to do this. He used to strengthen the employees emotionally and intellectually, being the primary concept of training, and empowering the individual and making the organization more productive and stress-free is the context of the training works on. And the list of programs offered for training and or workshop by him, it is like corporate ethics, behavior training, neuroscientific transformational program, personal effectiveness, fit and potency, and he has conducted so many programs like that. And he is the life skill trainer with neuroscience, psychology, and spirituality. He was the certified trainer in British English and Cambridge, and he was the participants of the financial expertise program conducted by Millionaire Mind by Howard T. Ecker, and he's the active member of CYIC NGO working among the youth and orphanages, former youth representative for Roman Catholic Diocese of Madras, Mylapore, district level football player and chess player. 2 years he served in National Science Scheme during high school, and he's been the bridge for the NXG through Campus Connect programs. Even he conducted so many school programs in course counseling and career counseling. So with this small introduction, I welcome you, sir, to deliver today's speech on communication skills. Over the session to you, sir.
Thank you. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm good to go, right?
Yes, sir, but your video is saw.
Yeah. Yes. Now I'm visible as well.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I was overwhelmed with your introduction. Thank you so much. And to start with, it's a very interesting topic, communication skills, because this is only skill that we have been practicing since we are born in this world. The time we are born, the first what is our first communication? As a human being, what is my first communication? What is it? You can put it on chat or you can unmute yourself and talk.
Participants,
yes.
You can use chat box.
Amma, no, yeah, I think Mr. Bhaskar Narayanan has said, no, crying.
Because
our first
the cry is the first communication, sir.
Exactly.
Because when the baby born, so the cry, with the help of the cry only, we came to know that the baby can exist in the world.
In fact, Sigmund Freud says that crying is the most effective communication. He's not only saying it's a communication, he says crying is the most effective communication. I believe all of you are married, and men who got married know how powerful the crying is. And when it comes to a communication, most of the whole conflict comes to an end just by one tear. So it's a very powerful communication. But the thing is that most of the time we take a lot of communication for granted. We don't give the importance to that particular communication the other person is trying to communicate. We just try to get the words, but we don't try to get the emotion. Today, we are going to see communication in the point of psychology and philosophy. It's not like not in the corporate way of looking the communication, but we are trying to look the communication from the psychological and philosophical part. And I'm a bit, of course, I have to accept that. I'm a bit nervous because I can see a lot of doctors here, a lot of PhDs. So you can always, it's open. Since we are talking about communication, you are always open to talk and share your opinion, and either by chat or you can even do it by unmuting yourself. That's up to you. At the same time, I prefer not to rag me. Okay, I feel like I'm the youngest person here, looking at your credentials. So first thing to say as in communication, the first thing is to being relaxed. Okay, when we are going to get into communication, we have to be relaxed. So this introduction and all these things, what happened, like past 15 minutes, what happened is, though I'm nervous, since I'm meeting all of you the first time, this 15 minutes gave me room to relax myself. Any communication, when you are not relaxed, what is meant by relaxed communication and not relaxed communication? Very simple. When your mind is occupied with too many things or things which are not relevant to that particular situation or that particular communication, it's non-relaxed communication. And when you are completely free from all anxieties and all emotions and you're relaxed and you don't have anything at your conscious or subconscious mind in that particular time, that's a relaxed communication. Most of the time, 70%, normally we are occupied with a lot of preoccupied thoughts. Even now I'm talking, most of you are at home and some of you might be in classes in college. Still, when I'm talking, your subconscious mind will be speaking something else. I am talking with you, you are listening. That happens in a conscious level. But in the subconscious level, another person, maybe a mini version of you are sitting in your head and it might be thinking or talking about something else. Actually, the effective communication comes only when your subconscious and conscious mind come together. Does that happen? Especially when husband and wife talk. There is even in fact in communication, women communication is completely different from the communication of a man. They have totally different way of listening and also a different way of talking. In fact, men have ability of listening to only one thing at a time. If you talk about too many things, they get confused. At one point of time, if I'm going to talk about my family, my friend's family, about other things, they get confused. But women, on the other hand, you can talk about multiple things in a single conversation. You look at a conversation between women and women, there will be a lot of multiple things happen. But when a communication happens between a man and a man, it will be a single topic. If they talk about politics, it's only about politics. If they are going to talk about health, they are going to talk only about health. But women have the ability of connecting all different things into one topic. Okay, they can talk about politics, but still they can bring in health, they can bring in economy, they can bring in a lot of topics, and still they are able to give in one package. In fact, women are better speakers than men. Women are better communicators than men. Can anyone say why women are better communicator than men? Why men are not so great when it comes to communication? Mostly men miserably fail in communication. Why it's happening? Any guess? Any answers? Why women are better communicators? Okay, emotions, yes. Ma'am, you mean to say that women are more emotional than men, or men are less emotional? How you want me to take it? See, this is a communication gap. Now I got only one word, emotions, and it can give different meanings to me, to all of us. Okay. Soft kind, okay. Okay. They have feminine aspect, okay. Designed to handle kids, okay. No, men are also designed to handle kids, actually. Okay, it's not only for women. A family bringing up kids, it's equal. Yeah, someone interesting. Left, right brain active connectivity is more than male brain. Okay. Okay. Surprisingly, the physiology of brain between man and woman is the same, but the action part is different. Okay, whatever you said is relevantly right, but logically we are missing something. Okay. For women, they communicate a lot. Simple. I would tell it's in a very simple language. Women practice communication more than men. Okay, men communicate less. There is a psychological point. I don't know how far it is true, but it says women has to speak 4,000 words a day, and men can speak only 2,000 words a day. Okay, they can't speak more than 2,000. If a woman speaks less than 4,000 a day, they get a headache. Okay, if they speak less than 4,000, they feel something is something is missing. They don't feel happy. The energy level goes down. But men, on the other hand, when they speak more than 2,000 words, they get tired. They are like they are done for that particular day. They feel like enough. Okay, let's take rest. But for women, they have to speak 4,000 days. 4,000 words. When I was telling this in a women conference, one of the ladies sitting there, a honorable woman, she came and she said, like, yes, sir, we have to speak 4,000 words. Guess what? Because for men, we have to say everything twice. We say it once, they don't understand. We have to say it twice. That's why we have to speak everything for the second time, and we have to speak 4,000 words. And rather they speak only 2,000 words. Maybe right, maybe wrong. But the thing is that women are more self-expressive than men. Can anyone tell me why? What is the reason? Men are self-expressive than women. Any guess? Women have more idea. Women can do multiple. Yeah, women are multitasking great. That's right. But why men are when it comes to self-expression, even they are happy, they are sad. Sometimes you can't understand. No, sometimes you can't find whether the man is happy or not. His face, we can't read the mind. But women, yes, we can find whether they are happy, they are sad, they are angry. They are more self-expressive than men. Why men are not so self-expressive? Women have more open in their thought, more action. Okay. 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 Okay, I'll give you the answer. The reason is that, as simple as like that, it's purely cultural. Okay. You would have noticed especially in India, they say no, men should not cry. Men should not be sad. Men should face everything. They have to overcome everything. They have to be, practice courage. They have to have the gut feel. So we are designed, men are designed to suppress their self-expression. On the other hand, women are allowed to practice their self-expression. I'm coming to where we started, crying is the most effective and most self-expressive communication that any human being could do. Still, in most of tribal places, when I travel to Gundur and down to Ooty, somewhere between Ooty and Mysore, there are tribal places where you find men are more of self-expressive, equivalent to women. They don't have the cultural background where men have to suppress their emotions and women can be self-expressive. They give complete freedom to both. And I find surprisingly, men are crying more than the woman in that particular tribe. Men are crying and men are complaining more than the woman in that tribe. So here what happens is men are the literally the communication and the self-expressive habit or the self-expressive pattern of men was controlled by the culture and the environment. That's why men are not able to be very successful or great communicator when it comes for personal communication. See, men, they talk ferociously in a meeting. They can give a wonderful talk. They can talk from knowledge, but from the emotional point of view, if you look, women get easily connected. Okay, I got a surprisingly an interesting quote here. Women give solution to the problem. They are able to overcome difficult time. Great. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, that's true. I will come back to that. Why it's a completely different topic. Why women are able to give different solutions. That also is connected with communication because women talk more and they listen more, where men talk less and they listen less. That's one logic why women are full of solutions and sometimes they are also full of problems. Okay, I can hear someone saying that. Okay, it's not from me. I'm just getting it from somebody over here. Okay, so either ways, women are more powerful in communication than men. Why I'm reinstating this is because sometimes we expect women to behave like a man and man to behave like a woman. Okay, it can't happen. It won't happen because of cultural background. Number one, women are more self-expressive because they practice more and they have the freedom to use it. Number two, men are not able to connect emotionally with the other person because their self-expressiveness is controlled by the culture and also by the environment. Okay, with that context, we are starting today's program. I'm just sharing a small presentation today, and then we'll go into discussions. And I just want to ask, is it okay if we get into teams and I give you some work, or you want to go with the flow for another 1.5 hours, or I just want your approval for that. Otherwise, I have a plan to put you into teams. Like probably I think I have 160 people. So 10 people or 7 people in your team, and we can put into teams for 10 minutes. Is that fine? Or you want me to go with the flow? Because we have sharp 1 hour. How will go ahead?
Sir, as per your requirement, whatever you feel good within 1 hour of
Okay.
time.
Great. Okay, I'll see how the flow goes till another half an hour. Then we'll take a call on that. Thanks for this, for the freedom that you gave as a man. I'm very happy that you gave this freedom to me. So after half an hour, we'll just take a call on that. Okay, so now I'll just share this and we'll go with we'll start the flow first. So today we are going to see the importance of communication skills in the background of probably psychology and philosophy. So basically, what is communication? What is communication? It's just as simple as like that. I'm talking something, you're understanding that. You're talking something, I'm understanding that. But the effective communication comes from the standpoint where it is a connection or a relationship building between two people. It can be considered as a state of harmonious understanding with another individual or group. And effective communication is the process of developing that connection with someone else. So it's not just talking, or it's not just saying what I want to say. It's not just speaking to someone. Rather, it is creating a connection between me and the person who am I talking. Okay, we feel getting connected. We feel like one, and we feel like harmonious in sense like you have to feel to speak more, to interact more, to have more conversation, okay, where there is a respect and freedom to self-express. So that's where the effective communication comes into place. Otherwise, it's just a communication. It's not even a communication, it's a transfer of message. Okay, basically communication is nothing but transfer of message. But effective communication comes with awareness of the first point is awareness of others. So what is this awareness of others? As simple, you have to find in what mindset that particular person is there when you're going for a talk or going for a communication. I work with a couple of heads of management and marketing heads and sales heads and top management people. And I still remember one CEO of a company, of a big giant company, when in his early stages, when he goes for, he does a program, and when he goes to collect money from them, when he goes to collect a check, he always go and he will wait outside the place, outside the room, and he will ask the peon of the mindset of the person to whom he is collecting the check. He will ask like whether he is in a good mood. Did he had his breakfast? How is he? Is he laughing? Is he smiling? Or is he serious? And sometimes the peon comes and says, sir, he's in a very good mood, sir. Today he was joking and he was happy. Only then he walks in, he talks about the check, he collects the check, he comes out. Else, he will not go inside. Okay, if the peon says, sir, today he is in a very bad mood, sir, he will not even, he is not even ready to look into any other files, he is not ready to meet anyone. Silently, he leave that place. He will not talk about anything. He don't even show that he was there on that particular day. Okay, again he comes and he will wait for some time. He do the same thing. You find out, okay, he is in a good mood. He collect he collect his check and he goes. He says in 5 years of his experience as a marketing head, even once he never missed of collecting his check. Sometimes the check is not ready, but still the other person takes the time and effort of creating, getting the check ready in that particular day and handing it over to him. Why? Because this is awareness of others. Sometimes we are in a good mood, we are relaxed, and we are happy to go into into a conversation, to talk about anything. But most of the time, what happens is the other person may not be in a mindset. Physically, he might be sick, or emotionally, he might be going through some stress or depression. And intellectually, he may not have the ability to understand what we are going to talk. So there are a lot of barriers. Obviously, we are going to see the barriers at the back of, in another couple of minutes. But actually what happens is, The other person, when the other person is not ready for the communication and you are trying to barge in into a communication, that communication is a broken communication. It cannot be an effective communication. It cannot be a powerful communication. You actually, what happening is already they are stressed out and we are getting in and we are creating more stress. This happens in families. I think women can easily relate to that. As soon as the husband walks inside the house, I don't know now how the families are, but in my days, in our days, like 20 years back, when father is coming in, the whole family will go in silent mode. The TV will be switched off, even fans will be switched off, everything will be dead silent. Children will be taking the books and they'll be reading. Father walks in, okay, he refreshes, he go for a coffee, he watches some TV, he reads some newspaper, and the whole family wait till the father relaxes himself. Otherwise, there will be a war 1, war 2 happening inside the family. As soon as he comes, he shouts at the children, the switches off the TV. And if the father is like a short-tempered person, is a very angry person, he will even break the TV, break the radio. All these things happens. Yeah. So why I'm telling this is because, 20 years back, just 20, 25 years back, there was a respect given to people's emotions. But today, we are talking on technology, we are talking on a lot of things, but the value for emotion of human being has went down. We have to honestly accept that the emotional quotient or the emotional importance that has to be given in a communication to the other person has went down. Sometimes it's so heartening, even going to colleges and when I'm talking to students, I find students are like, they take lecturers, they take us for granted, trainers and teachers. They feel like they know much more than what we know. And at some point, we have to show them that we know much more than what they know. Okay, they might know about technology and science and things like that, but they may not know about emotions and communication and self-expression. So it becomes, now communication goes to the higher level where my level of integrity is also has to be addressed when I'm communicating. So I have to see whether am I talking to the people who have this integrity level of my level. Sometimes you don't have to have the conversation at all. I have to honestly say there are certain programs and certain things that I have to decline, and certain people I have to avoid. Even in my neighbors, I don't talk with everyone. There are times that, when I came new to this house, I was talking to everyone in and around, a lot of things happening. But now I reduce, I know whom to talk, how much to talk. It's not necessary. There are toxic people, there are intoxic people, there are communication which is worth of a communication. There is communication which doesn't worth it. Okay, there are time killers in communication, time stealers are there. They just talk, okay, whatever comes to their mind, whatever they want to speak. And end of the day, they don't benefit anything, you don't benefit anything, I don't benefit anything. So a communication has to have a solid reason. Okay, so you have to be aware of the other person to whom you're talking. Are they, is the communication is worth it? Is the time spent on the communications are really worth it? We can go ahead. And second point is showing interest. Okay, sometimes, yes, I might be depressed, we might be stressful, we might be having some physical problem. But despite that, if you're able to show interest, showing interest doesn't mean just listening, but showing interest, it's empathetic listening. Listening in the point of view and trying to understand what they're really trying to say and answering them. And being sensitive, the third point, it's clubbed actually, showing interest and sensitivity is clubbed together. Being sensitive to that emotion, not only to what they are speaking, but also to how they are speaking. Effective communication is what they are speaking, and effective communication is how they are speaking, from what emotion they are speaking. Are they speaking from the point of view of happiness or sadness or gossip, or what is the emotion behind that? Is it out of, sometimes you can even identify whether they are talking out of jealousy, or they are talking out of happiness, or they are talking out of success. You can find it out. Are they talking out of pride? Are they talking out of guilt? Okay, so the brilliant part of brain is this. There is something called mirror neuron in our brain, where these mirror neurons just, when our neurons work with the words that they are speaking, our mirror neurons start to work from the emotion with what they are speaking. Okay, our mirror neurons try to capture the emotion or the background the subconscious context or the subconscious reason why they are speaking. Sometimes, as professors and lecturers, sometimes we know some people come and praise us for no reason. They will come and say, sir, you are wonderful, sir. It was great and it was nice. And immediately your neurons, your mirror neuron says, this guy wants something from us. He is looking for something. Something is, he is actually wants some favor from us, or is looking for some kind of a favor, probably in the long run or in the short run. And you immediately know from what point of view they are praising you, or from what point of view they're actually giving you the credit. And the fourth point is choosing right words. Okay, now you listen. Okay, now you are aware. The first, you are aware of the other person. You know what emotion they are going through. Now you have shown your your interest. Now you become sensitive. Now you understood why they are speaking, what they are speaking, and how they are speaking. Now it's your turn to choose the right words. Sometimes I'm telling you, the best word to say is thank you, we'll catch up later. Okay, that's more than enough for a communication. We don't have to argue, we don't have to counter argue, we don't have to even get into any conversation. Any conflict, I think it's Bernard Shaw who told this, any conflict has two fools on either side. Okay, mostly the fool who speaks a lot sounds stupid. So sometimes you don't have to agree with whatever others says, and you don't have to get into a conversation at all. Communication is not only talking, communication is also not talking. That we have to understand. Yeah, you all know, no, I don't want to, go to the basics of communication where we talk about verbal communication, non-verbal communication and all. So you know the power of non-verbal communication. So it's not mandatory that I have to speak all the time. I have to be, just listen to them and reply and argue all the time. Not necessary. Sometimes you can just move out with a smile and say that, yeah, you may be right. Okay, or you can say when somebody, especially when somebody gives a feedback, when somebody annoys you, when somebody is talking bad about you, you can, if it is right, go for it, accept give an apology, go move out of it. If they are not right, then still say, okay, I understand, I'll try to change and just move on. Okay, the time ego comes into communication, no more it is a communication, it is a conflict. Okay, that's the thumb rule. When the time I'm bringing in my ego between a conversation or between a communication, no more it is a conversation, no more it is a communication. Rather, it is a conflict. Okay, so even in families, in workplace, friends, you see, like, are you operating from your ego, or are you operating from your self-expressiveness? Okay, so okay, now so that it doesn't mean that you have to agree with whatever others say. I can feel somebody asking. So the other person can always complain and say whatever nonsense they want to talk about me, sir, and I have to be always silent. Not necessary. You can give them 2 days time. There is the neurons, the memory capacity of a neuron is 48 hours. If I say something after 48 hours, I remember only 30% of what I spoke. Okay, that's the normal logic. Okay, if I really listen, then I could remember 80%. But when I speak only. Even I speak 100 things. If you're going to ask me to give the same conversation after 2 days, after 48 hours, 30% is what I'm going to reproduce. So when you take 2 days time and go back to the same person and say, hello, 2 days back, you complained about this thing to me, and I believe that I need I have to give an explanation to that. I'm telling you, 80% of the people will say, no, sir, that day I told you, Chumai told you don't have to take it serious. Yeah. So I learned this when I worked with HDFC Bank. My manager, when his manager shouts at him, he never replied. He just says, okay, sir, I'm sorry, he'll come back. But after 2 days or after 3 days, he'll go back and say, sir, 2 days back, you pointed out this particular thing on me, and that was not right. And surprisingly, his senior manager, most of the time he agrees with that, and he says like, and you know what happens in just 3-4 months, he stopped complaining about the manager. He just stopped calling him inside his room, because once he calls him inside his room, if he's going to say something, after 2 days, this guy is going to stand on the door. Okay. So always in communication, the most important point is patience. The attitude wise, psychological way, the most important factor that we have to practice is patience. You don't have to be, reactive all the time. You have to be responsive. We will talk about reaction and response. Finally, joining the dots. Okay, joining the dots means like you have to find your neurons and your mirror neurons working together, and you have to find why they are telling, what they are telling, how they are telling, and what is the context. Are they talking for no reason, or are they really meaning something? Is there a real meaning in that communication, or the communication has no meaning? It's just a time, time pass, or it's just that they want to say something, they just say and leave. Okay, so when you join these dots, you get the whole picture of the communication. You get the whole picture of from where they are talking, why they are talking, and what they are talking. Okay, and as you all know, communication is the transfer of information. This is the normal communication. Okay, and almost 75% of our waking hours we are communicating. There are 4 levels of communication, which all of you might know. Okay, number 1 is reading. Number 2 is writing. Number 3 is listening. Number 4 is speaking. Okay, speaking comes at the last actually. Okay, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So any communication, you start with listening, then you go with the speaking. Sometimes you read, then you speak. Today, a lot of stress. One major reason, because we reduced our time period of writing actually. Every single day, during our college days, even when we do our pages, there is a lot of things that we have to write. Literally, we write and write and write. Why? Because writing is a very powerful communication tool. Psychologically, even in a subconscious level, actually they say writing for more than 30 minutes is like a meditation. You are doing a meditation for 1 hour, you get the same benefit of writing for more than 1 hour. Okay, writing is a very powerful communication tool, which will be taken for granted nowadays. We're just typing. Typing is completely different from writing. Okay, because when you're writing, it comes directly from your mind to your hands. But when you're typing, you're taking a tool, you're taking a channel and a medium where you're communicating to see it on the screen. So there is a different, difference between typing and reading. So most of the people argue with me that, sir, typing, every single day we are typing like at least 3,000 to 4,000 words. Still, it won't. You can listen to a song and you can type still, but listening to a song and writing is a bit difficult, especially for men, I would say. Okay, so the first part is reading. How you read, even that is a communication. You're reading a book. In what understanding you're reading that book? What is the ideology? What is the background? Sometimes you read. I read book because one of my friend referred me. Okay, he said like, this is a good book, read it. But for me, it is not a good book. For me, I have 80% of what is written in the book I would have read somewhere else already. Okay, so and I find like it's a copy of too many books, and they put it in one book and they give it to me. That's a kind of ideology I get. And sometimes they say like, this book is not so great, but they're giving too much of importance. I read that book, and that book holds a lot of originality. So reading and writing, it gives effective communication when it carries the original content. When the content is borrowed or content is taken from somebody else, obviously it cannot be effective, or it cannot be a powerful communication. Okay, and when it comes for writing as well, when you write your mind and your emotions, you are more connected to yourself. Okay, see, in communication, self-communication is one of the most important thing in psychology. Most of the time, we are into stress because we are not self-communicating. I just want, at this point of time, I just want to give a pause, and I want you to raise your hand. How many of you do a constant self-communication? How many of you talk to yourself about yourself? Can you raise your hands, please? Constantly, every single day. Okay, great. I'm noting down the names, and I have another question to ask to all of you. Okay, so. Okay, so how many of you have this self-talk every single day? Not one day or the two, but every single day you have a self-talk. Now, my second question is, now you all, okay, I see hardly 10 out of 200, like it's even 5%, not even 5%. Hands are going down. Okay. Okay, not every single day, but okay, I understand. See, the second question to people who raised your hand is, what you communicate about yourself to you? what is one thing that you say about yourself? We are all in a subconscious level, we are all communicating to ourselves every single day. But consciously, how many of us talk? That's my question. And hardly I find 10, 11 people. Now, my second question is like what we communicate. Great. Usually appreciate my work. Fantastic. What else? Okay, we discuss our daily events. Okay, people we meet. Great. Okay, not every day, but we just communicate on what we have to focus, improve, plus appreciate. Analysis, what I did right and wrong. Okay. In Brahma Murtam, you talk with yourself. Great. Great. Many things, negatives, positives, talk about the betterment, regret, tomorrow, self-analysis. Okay, fantastic. I want to motivate and improve myself. Fantastic. Great. A round of applause to all of you, because this is what I'm trying to say. The more positive you talk about yourself to yourself, the more gratitude you carry on yourself, the more better your communication is going to be. The more negative you are going to talk about yourself see, we talk good about ourselves to ourselves, but my question is also on this. Now, what you talk about the society, what you talk about your people around you, now you have to listen to this. Okay, this is very important. Now, we talk good about ourselves. That is fantastic. Okay, we are introspective. We appreciate ourselves. Very good. At the same time, what is that we talk about others in our everyday life? What is the communication, self-communication that is happening about the society, about the people around us, about this politics, about the economy, about the world war? Okay, what are the things that we are carrying in our mind? There are too many things happening, no? Like there are a lot of negative things is what we see in the news. I stopped seeing news like almost like 1 year now, I would say. Almost past one and a half years. I don't see news. I just read some couple of newspapers. That's enough for me. And I'm very selective in reading that. So what is the self-communication that you have about the people around you? We'll start one by one. First thing, you told me what communication you have about yourself to yourself. Fantastic. All of you are passed. Okay, 100% perfect. Now, what is the communication, self-communication you have about the people around you, about your family and your colleagues? Okay, what is the communication or what is the thought you have, what you talk about the people around you and your family and your colleagues to yourself? Okay, great. So about a girl. Okay, fantastic. People around you are good, only have to change. Okay, that was too philosophical actually. Dr. Shamla, that was too philosophical. We are all good, all people are good. They say only 10% of the world's population is bad, actually bad. Okay, only 10%. But they are the one who threaten a whole lot of, I think, I can't see the name. We have a lot of fears and anxieties because of these 10% of people actually. Like Mrs. Shamli Gopinath said, no, the environment is not so disturbing today. This is also a myth actually, because 90 to 80% of people are good actually. Okay, there are a lot of research done on that, and they find that people are normally good. 90% of people are normally good. It's only 10% of the people who are really bad, actually. Okay, even you take, this you can take, you can take your relatives. If you have, say, 100 relatives, only 10 people would be bad in that. And 90% of the relatives, they just look at their own work. They don't bother about what's happening in your life. They don't even listen to what's happening. They don't even discuss. But yes, always there is a 10% of your relative always, saying something, bothering you and commenting on what you're doing, whatever you do. Okay. So all these things happen. Now, what's important here is the first point is like, as much as positiveness you carry about yourself, you also have to carry the positive communication about the environment and especially the people around you, your family and your colleagues. The more positive thoughts and more positive communication, self-communication you have about your people around you, your communication with that particular person will improve, and that will lead to effective communication, and that will lead to a wonderful relationship. This is the context. I'm giving you a very simple example. Imagine that I don't like my uncle, okay? And every time I look at my uncle, how do you think that I will communicate with him? I will not communicate freely, right? I will always have a regret. I will always don't like to talk with him. I just say, hi, uncle, hi, hello, bye. But imagine I like my auntie very much, like my mom's sister. I like her very much, okay? Chitti. How my communication will be with her? It will be very nice. No? I'll talk. I can talk anything with her. I can be completely self-expressive to her. So your communication, the beginning point of communication is your thoughts. Okay, this is the place where I'm trying to come. Your communication doesn't begin in words. Your communication begins in your thought. Your mind is the beginning point of your communication. Even before you speak, you start your communication process within you. When you think about that person, you think positive or negative about that person, your communication starts. When you think, okay, this guy, why at all I have to talk with this guy, immediately the communication starts and your brain starts to work in that particular order. You like someone, your communication skill is different. You don't like someone, your communication skill is different. You want someone, your communication skill is different. You don't want someone, your communication skill is different. Okay. So everything begins from the thought. It begins, your communication is not beginning from your words or the speaking skills. It actually starts from the non-verbal thinking pattern. Okay. So that's the reason we have to always have a positive talk, always have to have a positive self-communication about people and situations and things that's around us. The more we carry a positive outlook on people and our colleagues and family, the more the communication is going to be easy. Otherwise, it is always there. You find it difficult, as if you have to hide that hatred, hide that prejudice behind, and you have to show that you really like them, you really give them importance, something like that. You have to pretend in a communication. I'm telling you, the most difficult thing in a communication is pretending that, we are good in communication, pretending that I'm having a positive communication or a positive conversation. When you don't like someone and you have to talk to them, it's very difficult. You can't change you can't avoid that person, but you can avoid the negative thought you have that person, because you're all, end of the day, we are all human beings. Okay, we all make mistakes. And surprisingly, psychologically speaking, one person can do you 100 good things, okay, 100 good things, but it is enough for him to make one mistake to regret your whole life. Okay, you will be hating him for your whole life just because of one mistake. But he would have done you 100 good things, which goes to nothing. We will talk about forgiveness, and when I give counseling and when I give training on forgiveness and regrets and guilt, mostly it happens. It's not a repetitive problem. It's only once this guy would have cheated, or this guy would have did something wrong, or this guy would have hurted the other person. It will be a one-time incident. But for that one-time incident, the regret and anger and hatred the other person is carrying will be for a lifetime. Okay, so you really want to have effective communication and you really want to be wonderful in your communication skills, I'm telling you, forgive people. It's okay. Okay, they will change. They will change. I'm telling you, my physics master don't like me because I'm a state level football player. I don't sit in the class. Okay, I just go out, I play for teams, and I get full attendance. Okay, I even got 500 rupees when I was studying for full attendance. But actually I was not into school at all. Like almost 3 months I was out of the school. I was playing for the school and I'm playing for the state and getting the cups. But my physics master, he was more of a studious person. Okay, he don't like me. I also don't like him. I don't talk with him much. I just say hi, bye, bye, things like that. One day my Tamil master came to me and said, like, you change your opinion about him. Try that, like him. Go and talk to him. Even if you don't like him, just go and talk. Okay, you just try to create a relationship with him. You won't believe. I just changed my negative thought about my physics master. I start to like him because he's so knowledgeable. He has After, a couple of conversation, I find he was very knowledgeable, and whatever he speaks, he says only for my good. And one day I confessed, I said, like, sir, thank you so much. Your advice has really helped me. You won't believe, in no time, our relationship was amazing. Even till today, he got retired. Okay, he's in Villivakkam. Even till today, we have a wonderful relationship after 20 years of my studies, I'm telling you. Why? Because sometimes what you carry about the person decides the communication you have with that person. This is the biggest barrier we have in any effective communication. The biggest barrier is what I think about that person, what I carry about that person decides the communication I have with that person. Even I don't know now this trend of is still there or not, but in olden days when dad and mom has a fight, they will not talk with each other. And we children have to be mediator between them. My mom will say, "Sapad ready, come." And then I'll go and tell dad, like, "Dad, food is ready. Can you come?" He comes. Okay, my mom will ask him whether he wants some more rice, and he will say, "Okay, tell her to put some more rice." We'll be the mediators. I don't know now. Being nuclear families, I think it's not happening much. But still, when you don't like someone, when you are in hatred, it's okay to ignore for some time, but don't carry it for a longer time. Okay, any hatred, any prejudice has to be sorted out, either by talking or by not talking, either by communicating effectively or better you don't communicate and just leave it as it is. Okay, so again I reinstate this. This is a very important factor in communication, is that what you think about that person decides what kind of a communication you're going to have with them. Okay, the more positive you're going to have about the person, the more positive is going to be your communication. The more negative you're going to carry about the person, the more negative your communication is going to be with them. It's as simple as like that. You like someone, no matter whatever they do, you still like them. You don't like someone, no matter whatever they do, still you don't like them. Okay, as simple as like that. So what decides your effective communication and ineffective communication is your thoughts and your, we call in psychology, because your context or your understanding or your assumption or your perception about that person and about that situation. Okay, this is the most deciding factor in communication. Okay, and so basically the communication process, there will be a sender and there will be a message and there will be a receiver and there will be a feedback. So there are two kinds of communication, as I told you, verbal and non-verbal communication. So verbal communication, it's basically it comes from your belief system. Okay, your conviction, how much you are, how much you believe in something. From that conviction you speak. Some people like Rajini, some people like Kamal. Okay, for some people this is good. Some people like apple, some people like orange. So it comes from your belief system basically. And the second thing is your confidence level. When you really know what you are speaking, when your knowledge level is really high in that particular field, your confidence comes and your verbal communication becomes more powerful. If you're going to ask me about astrophysics or if you're going to ask me about astrology, I don't know anything. Okay, my confidence will be completely shattered. You're going to talk about communication skills and soft skills and English language and things like that. Yes, I'm happy to go with that, because I have the conviction that I'm good in something, and I have the confidence that I have the knowledge pertaining to that conviction is with me. When I don't have the knowledge, I lose my confidence. So most of the time I tell my students, most of my students, I tell, like, your confidence is directly proportionate and equal to the, your confidence is equally proportional to the knowledge that you have. And your knowledge is equal to your confidence that you have. So the more knowledge you have on particular topic, the more confidence you'll be having on that. The less knowledge you have on that, the less confidence you will have. So when you're talking about, when people are talking about the topic or, discussing about something which is not in your knowledge level, which is not in your zone, it's better that you avoid and just ignore and leave. Don't be there and show that you're not less confident, you don't know something. Even sometimes you can play confident by accepting that you don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Recently, a couple of spiritual people, spiritual leaders came to my house for a dinner, and they were talking about something on, religion and spirituality. I have absolutely no idea what they are talking. They were asking me, like, come and sit and talk. I said, like, no, sir, I have absolutely no idea about what you're talking. I was more of corporate and students and education, things like that. So I'm sorry. You just go ahead with your topic. Okay. So when you're not sure and when you find that your confidence level is less, that particular topic in that particular situation with that particular people, it's always good that you avoid or that you just stand out of that particular. You don't need to avoid, but you can stand out of that particular situation and you carry yourself with confidence. Otherwise, what happens? No, when you're indulging in things that you don't know, your integrity is at stake. Most of the time, communication is directly proportionate to your integrity. Why we talk so much about communication? Why communication, effective communication is so important in our life? Simple as like that, because it's directly connected to our integrity. We have been judged. We have been, looked upon the way we talk and how we talk. So your communication is the deciding factor of your integrity and self-respect. That's why communication is very important. It's not just I talk, it's not just talking, but Yagavarainum Nakaka, Kavaka, Sogappa Solirkupattu. So it's so serious thing. Okay, we have to know what we talk, how we talk, from where we are talking. So it has to be in a proper way, because we are branding ourselves when we are talking. Okay, when you're communicating, we are branding ourselves. We are telling, hey, this is what I am. Okay, this is how I have been built. This is my belief system. Okay, they can question your belief system, but they cannot question your confidence, or they cannot question your integrity, or even your self-expressiveness. That's what is important. That's why communication is very, very important. Both verbal and non-verbal communication. Not only verbal communication, but also non-verbal communication. I'm telling you, the way we go and stand in front of students, the way we go and stand in front, in front of people makes a lot of difference. The way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, the way we look, okay, the way we speak. The speaking is only 7%. In fact, the rest 93% is the way we stand, the tone of our voice, how we look at them. Are we having a eye contact? Eye contact doesn't mean like that we have to look at their eyes, like looking at their face itself is eye contact basically. So do we have a proper eye contact? Are we having a different, certain space maintenance? Like, am I standing in a safe position or a safe distance between the other person and me? And during times of COVID, okay, we have to mandate it's like at least 2 to 3 feet that we are standing behind. And how is my tone? Am I audible or am I not audible? Am I too, is my voice is too soft or too loud? All these things includes why we have to focus on all these things, because end of the day, what's at stake is my integrity and my self-respect. People are going to judge me. We can't stop people judging me, that is very difficult. The time you walk in somewhere, people immediately they will judge. They will look at the time they look at you, they will judge you. They will think like, okay, this person is okay. This person is not okay. This person is knowledgeable. He's not knowledgeable. He's like kind of okay. He's not kind of okay. He's a highly integral, a person with high integrity. He's a person with low integrity. Everything is judged and decided based upon the way I communicate. So that's the reason communication is highly important thing we have to practice and excel in. And finally, enthusiasm. Yes, we have to have the energy. We have to enjoy what we speak. We have to enjoy the conversation. And the more you enjoy the communication, you are going to make the other person also enjoy the communication. That's the beauty of it. The more enthusiasm you are going to carry, the more, okay, the other person is going to be happy, and more the other person is going to involve in the conversation. Okay, so you have to have that enthusiasm, energy level. You are sick or you are in a depression or stress, first sort it out. But take your time. Okay, relax yourself. Sometimes when I have a full day program, I carry buttermilk, I carry water, I carry some juice. Okay, I just boost up my body. Physically, I need a stamina. Emotionally, I need a stamina. Intellectually, I need a stamina to give a proper communication, especially when you are a teacher, when you are a lecturer, when you are a professor, when you are a trainer, when you address multiple people, when you address a lot of people. You need to have 3 staminas all through the day: physical stamina, emotional stamina, intellectual stamina. If you find that any one of these areas in these 3 dimensions, okay, physical, emotional, or intellectual, you are lacking somewhere, you are lacking, do something about that, deal with that, finish it up, then go with that. Don't go with a negative vibe, they say, in psychology, they say, don't go with a negative mindset or a negative vibe. Let it be a physical sickness or an emotional turbulence or an intellectual weakness. Okay, so always see to that you carry yourself with a lot of enthusiasm and lot of energy. That's very important when it comes for effective communication. And your effective communication completely depends on your situation and circumstances. That is one thing that you have to, it's not always 100%. Sometimes it is very difficult. No, we find that the effective communication, everything depends on me. No, sometimes you have to let it go also. Sometimes it depends on the situation. Sometimes it depends on audience. Sometimes it depends on the content or context of the information that we are going to share with. So there are certain things that is not in our control. So the first part I was talking about the things that is in our control, okay, our thoughts, our emotions, which we can control, which we can manage. Now I'm going to talk about the things which is not in our control. You can't control the situation there. Imagine there is a current cut. You have to raise your voice. If there is no proper ventilation, you can't do much about that. So you have to accept and you have to understand. You have to manage things according to that. Probably. See, sometimes when there is no current, I don't talk. I just give them some work to do. I put them into teams. I give them a small work so that they are occupied. So once the ventilation, once the light is back, then I continue the session. Okay, so you have to have a backup. Okay, you have to have a plan B in your communication. If something, especially in a group communication, when you're taking classes, when you're addressing a group of people, if something goes back, you can't just stand still and just look at their face. Okay, that stops the flow. That also cuts down the the knowledge transfer that is happening. So always you have to have a plan B. When something is going wrong, you have to see how to take that situation in hand and how you can able to manage. You can't control the situation or circumstance, but you can always manage the situation and circumstances. Then comes the audience. You have to know about the audience. What kind of audience? Okay, are they, like now I'm talking to elite people, all lecturers and professors. So this is a different kind of communication. If I have to talk with students, that's a different kind of communication. If I have to talk with school students, that's a different. If I'm going to talk with corporate people, that's a different kind of communication. So you have to know your audience, what kind of receiver you have. Based on that, you have to find your, you have to fine tune your words. You also have to fine tune your emotions. Okay. And finally, the content or context. You have to know in what is the content, what is the knowledge transfer that has to happen in that particular time. For example, say 2 hours, we have to talk about artificial intelligence. Okay, what is the audience type, where they're coming from, and what I have to talk about artificial intelligence. Is it I'm going to talk about only robots, or is that I'm going to talk about the artificial intelligence that's happening in educational system, or is that artificial intelligence that is going to happen in the medical field? So which field I'm going to talk? If I'm going to talk with MBBS students, I have to talk about artificial intelligence happening in the medical field. I can't go and talk about the artificial intelligence happening in the manufacturing field with the people who are studying engineering or MBBS, okay, medicine. So the topic has to be relevant to the content or the context that is there. So this will give you a bond, a connection, and it will help you to energize your communication in a better way. It improves your communication level. And always ask this question before you get into a conversation, communication, especially when you go for a group conversation. What do you wish to convey? Why are you conveying the message? What is the result you're looking for? Okay, these 3 questions. For me, when I started this, like what I want to convey is like as simple as like that. I want to convey one major thing, that communication is not only verbal or not only non-verbal and verbal. Communication is also internal and psychological. That's what I want to convey in a stronger note. The second thing is that why are you conveying the message? Because today, a lot of relationship issues are happening between parents, between family, between friends, between student and professor. Almost 90% of the problem is happening only because of wrong communication. Nothing else. It's absolutely wrong communication. 90% of the problem. 10%, yeah, we have external factors influencing our lives and lifestyle. That's a different thing. But 90%, our communication is what decides a relationship. And today we have a lot of relationship issues because we become poor communicators. So that is why I'm conveying the message. And what is the result I'm looking for? The result I'm looking for is that I want all of you to be effective communicators, meaning I want all of you to be happy in your life. Okay. When you become effective communicator, when you are very good in listening, amazing in your talking, when you know what to talk, how to talk, when to talk, and with what emotion, when you know how to handle your situations and audience, I'm telling you, you will be the happiest person. Your self-confidence, you will see that your self-confidence grow day out and day in. It keeps on growing and growing. You find there is no robotic, most of the time when we work for a regular work, this happens. No, we feel like it's a robotic life. Every day repeating the same thing, looking at the same people, talking the same subject. It becomes monotonous. It becomes a habit. It becomes tiresome, and life becomes boring. But when you become an effective communicator, every single day is new for you. Every single communication is an enthusiastic act for you, and every single day will be amazing for you. It will not be boring, but it will be more interesting. So that is the result I'm looking for. Probably may not today, but it will happen. That is for sure. And effective communication can take place when the level of knowledge of the subject or understanding of your listener is equal to yours, or when you grow, when you move high or low according to their level, and when you know what exactly they need. Sometimes your audience may not know what they need. Okay, and very importantly, a familiar language. We will talk about this when we talk about culture. Okay, the medium of communication, we all know: face-to-face communication, audio, video, like what we are having now, and written communication. So when we talk about non-verbal communication, body language, that's the first and major most thing. The first thing is your eye contact. Okay, as I told you, it's not just looking at the eyes; it's just looking at the face and smiling, and your facial expression. Only one facial expression you have to, hold throughout this. Your conversation is a gentle smile. And sometimes when you're talking to your students, if they need some discipline, or you have to have a rough face, so your facial expression shows that where you're talking from, and your gestures. Okay, when you're talking, some people have this habit of knuckles, taking out the knuckles. Some people have this habit of doing like this. And when your hands are free, just use it only to speak. Your hands have to speak for yourself. Okay, no, your hands should not do anything else. Even your hands should not touch each other's hands when you're talking. And your posture, how you stand. Are you standing with a confident posture, or are you standing with a lethargic posture, or are you standing with a tilt down posture? So you have to be aware of how you're standing. If you have any, for example, sometimes when I'm in a long run, when I'm standing for the whole day, I have a leg pain. I just tell them, I tell my audience, hey guys, I have a leg pain today. Okay, so I'm going to stand in one leg, or I'm going to just lean for some time. I get the permission from my audience, from the other person, before I change my posture. Otherwise, I stick to my posture. I normally walk and I talk. And in online, this is the only difficulty I face is like, I can't walk and talk, actually. I believe once hologram comes, that will be over. I'm waiting for a hologram where I can actually stand and speak, and you can all, wherever you are, you can find me there and you can talk to me. So till then, it's difficult for me to sit and talk, but still I'm practicing this. I'm adjusting myself to the technology and latest, way of communication. So, your posture. So you have to be aware of all these things. That's very important. And your tone, as I already told you, your tone, your inflection, your rate of speech, your volume, your enunciation. Today, my rate of speech is actually truly I have to say okay, before I say, I want to hear from you. How is my rate of speech? You have to tell me only 3 things. Okay, I put it on the chat. Is it high, low, or medium? Okay, so how is it? How is my rate of speech today? How I speak? It's high, okay, medium. Okay, medium. Thank you. It's good tone. Okay, high. To be very honest, it's high today. Yeah, it's not medium today. It's like bit higher than, and I'm happy that for some people, it's medium because of their listening capacity, because of their understanding, and their grasping power and their observing skill. It sounds like medium, but actually it's high today because I know I'm talking with well experienced people who can listen and grasp as many things as possible, because the time is very less. Hardly one of us is to talk about communication. I'm telling you, it's a literally 2-day session. It's 2 whole days of session where we give live worksheets and live things. So I just look at the time. It's already 11:18. I don't even know how the flow goes. Like, so today I'm not able to put you into teams, and I'm not able to give you some activity. But probably next time I'll see how it goes. Okay, so your tone, your inflection, your rate of speech, your volume, your enunciation, everything has to depend on the audience, not on yourself. Okay, sometimes people say like, sir, by birth my tone is like this only, sir. From my birth my rate of speech is like this only, sir. Hello, if it is so, it's time for you to change. Okay, in order to be an effective communicator, you have to do that. Okay, before we get into the Q&A session, I have a small video to play for all of you. Okay, so just look at this video, then we'll get into the discussion, then we'll get into QA and feedback. Okay, so my question for you is it right or wrong? I just want you to put, is it right? What this guy has done is right or wrong? You have seen the video. Now I just want to know whether what this guy has done is right or wrong. Yeah, his acting is pretending, but what do you feel like? Is it right or is it wrong? Right. Okay. Okay. Maybe right. That's a very diplomatic answer. Maybe right. Right. The common sense, it is wrong. Yes. Okay. Wrong. Right. I think. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to judge here, but I'm going to give you a surprising answer here. See, the biggest barrier in any communication is the perception that you have. You can have any perception. Your perception is right. Okay, you say is right, you're right. You say is wrong, it's wrong. Okay, because end of the day, what decides the communication, what decides the the output of any communication is the perception that I have about that particular communication or the particular person. Okay, your perception is always right. Whether you think you can, you cannot, still you're right. Okay, so always see to that you have a positive perception about life and things. And when you are communicating, see that you have the same language, and language, not only the same language like Tamil, English, Hindi. No, I'm talking about the same kind of mindset here. And don't, being more cautious with certain situations of people. Don't try to bring their past experience or your past experience. There is one proverb in Tamil, they say, Vellakaram poi solla maatan. White people never lie. Okay, all these things are coming from our past experience. Okay, so don't become a prey for past experience. Finally, prejudices. You like something, you don't like something, don't carry them. Okay, so that's very, very important. So with that, I think we are to the conclusion of this day. I think I saved 7 minutes now, and yes, any questions? We can move on to the Q&A now. And
Now
then
the
we can
session is
conclude it. I got
Now
one
the
question. I think I got a question. Could you please suggest few tips to have a clear, strong, bold tone? Yes, I would say drink more water. Okay, that's number one thing. And I forgot the name. Tamil, they say no nelikai. That really gives you a strong tone, and even pepper helps you to have a good tone. Actually, okay, it enhances your tone. Both pepper and amla. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, amla and pepper. These are two things that can actually help in your tone of voice. Actually, that's what I'm working out with. Any other questions? Yes.
So the next question, how we can control our emotions during the communication?
See, one thing, to be honestly, we have to say we can't control our emotions, but we can postpone our emotions. This is the trick of the brain. Okay, you can't control, but you can say, okay, I have a problem now. Okay, by 3 o'clock, I'll face this. Okay, till 3 o'clock, I'm not going to think about that. We can tell through self-talk, we can say, okay, I have this problem, but by 3 o'clock, I'm going to face this. I'm going to address this. Now I'm not going to address this. Or you can talk, another tip is that you can talk to a friend. Okay, you have a problem, call one of your closest friend, give him a call, talk to for some time. Okay, 80% of the problem gets solved in communication. Only by talking, it gets solved. You don't get the solution, but you will still get the consolation. See, not that every problem have a solution. Some problems just need consolation. That's it. Once you get that consolation, at that point of time, your emotions come down. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, drink some juice. Okay, it boosts up your energy level, and that will reduce your stress level also. Having a banana, having fruit juice really helps you when you are, when you're stressed out, physically or emotionally or intellectually even. I would say by controlling your diet, you can actually control your emotions. That's probably some other day we'll have that. Okay, our body is nothing but chemical composition. We are a chemical composite actually. So everything is a chemical reaction. Our emotions are chemical reaction. Our feelings, all these things are a chemical reaction. So when we give a different chemical inside our body, automatically it enhances. Okay. Yes.
Sir, the next question. So some speakers, they used to talk very continuously without using any aids. Is there any secret behind that on the sequencing or the thing they used to talk continuously? No? Is there anything?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. One is like habit. When you do something for 41 days, when you're continuously doing something, it becomes a habit, and when it becomes a habit, it's very difficult for you to stop it. So that's one thing. Okay, when you make it a habit, you obviously you will see that it becomes naturally. Number one. Number two, most of the speakers have 10 points. Okay, they have 10 points in hand, in which they rotate these 3-4 points again and again with relevant stories and examples. That's it. So it's not a big trick actually. You have 10 points. For example, when communication, I talk about psychology, philosophy, and your listening skills, reading, writing, speaking, like that. I have some 31 points. In that 31 points, I select only 5-6 points. For that 5-6 points, I have relevant stories and videos, or probably some extempore talk or some experiences and examples. Then I deliver that. So it's easier that way.
Thank you, sir. And the next question, what type of dress up or dress color we can use? And for the male and female, is there any different dress colors are there? For example, men should not wear pink color or something. Is there any dress code rules are there when we are in the public speaking or something?
Yes, mostly light color dress enhances us. Okay, we are like, we are brown and we are not even black actually. We are brown and that color. So naturally light colors like, white and even sometimes black. See, sometimes what suits you better. Okay, so it comes from the trial and error, and whatever suits your tone, skin tone, and whatever suits your body tone and skin tone is more important than the color actually. So if it suits your body tone and your skin tone, then please go with that.
Okay, and the next question, how to overcome the stage fear?
Okay, not only stage fear, any fear that for that matter, only way of overcoming fear is by constantly doing that, repeatedly doing the same thing again and again. If you are afraid of, for example, I have this claustrophobia. If I'm in a closed room, I get scared of. I don't travel in a lift for a long period of time. But the more I started to travel in lift again and again and again, that fear goes up. So if you are carrying of stage fear, then obviously you have to go find more stages to talk. Initially, 3-4 times you might miserably fail, or you may not be doing good, but the 5th and 6th time you'll become a master of it. So any fear, address it, face it, do it a couple of times, you will become master of it.
Is there the next question is there any tactics to keep to get the audience attention throughout the session?
Yeah, constant questioning them is one trick which I use most obviously in most of the times. Ask them questions and get answers from them. That is number one. And if it is offline, you are sitting with them, probably their body language will tell you. You can put them some activities, And you can make them also to ask questions. That is also, during the conversation. Since this communication is a very common topic, I don't make people to ask me questions. But if it is about other topics like conflict or decision making, things like that, obviously I'll be making people to ask more questions. So one is asking them question, another one is like making them to ask question to us. So these two tips will help you to keep them hooked up and keep them engaged in the conversation. Yes.
And the next question, even though I am confident, I am having stammering while talking. Is there any way to overcome?
Stammering, you have to, I have to tell you, is it clinically, you need to have a clinical, help from the medical help, or is it something that you can overcome by your own self-confidence? Because there are two kinds of stammering. I had stammering till the age of 7, which has to be addressed clinically. I have to go through certain kind of exercise, even medicines, I would say, through which it has to, I have to come out of the stammering. There are certain stammering that you can come out of your confidence by talking more and more and more. By building up your confidence, you can come out of it. So you have to first find out whether it has to be addressed clinically or it can be addressed by your self-confidence. So find that out and get a, I would say, please get a professional help for that, and you can easily come out of it. Today, we have a lot of technology and tools and medicine to come out of it.
And the another question, even though we are confident, if we speak, if we see the speakers, if they are more, if they are having more good profiles than us, then it will be automatically the fear comes. So is there any way to overcome?
See, the problem with us is like we always think that everything that is happening to us is a fear and a stress. No, it is anxiety. Anxiety is completely different from fear. Anxiety, normally, when I find people who are more, more studious or having a caliber of higher caliber than me, I get anxiety. I don't get fear. Okay, fear is a sign of low self-esteem. But normally, speakers have they don't have fear, but they have anxiety. How they are going to address. But once you start the conversation and you find, see, always remember one thumb rule. Not that everybody knows everything. Okay, what I know, you may not know. Whatever you know, I may not know. So always have this thumb rule. So it's not that everybody knows everything. Okay, so with that thumb rule, you can face anyone. And again, practice. The more you practice this, you can come out of this. Any fear, any anxiety, the easiest way to come out of it is like, do it till you come out of it. Okay, till you succeed, just keep going on. Yes, Shamla ma'am and Shamla ma'am, you can go ahead. You can ask your question.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Sir, thank you so much for the wonderful session. We have learned a lot. So you have
Thanks.
mentioned that even keeping silence itself is a big communication. So regarding yoga and yoga therapy, what is the best method of effective communication? Because this is very important, and how to communicate more and purposeful in a less time.
Yeah, see, it's hardly 5 to 10 minutes. You have to make them understand. You have to establish your mindset that you are talking and you are putting this effort. No, there's a whole effort only for their benefit. And you talk only about the benefits of, taking this therapy. And you have to talk about, you go to any doctors, no, they give you just medicine and they don't even speak, because in olden days, I still remember the doctors will tell you what is the benefit of the medicine. Today, we get used to it. Same way in yoga, now it is a, this is a transition period where people are coming back to natural healing and natural yoga and natural science. So this is high time that we have to tell the benefits. The more you talk about the benefits and the more you're going to talk about the good and happy they are going to be. See, when we talk about happiness and freedom that they are going to have by having this simple therapy and by doing simple things, that when you are going to explain that they're doing simple things, they're going to get a big benefit, people will listen and people will understand. Only thing is that we have to have patience. For some people, we can make them convinced in 2 days. For some people, it takes 20 days. It depends on their knowledge level. It also depends on their emotional level. So that we have to understand. Based on that, patience is what we have to practice. And number 2, we have to tell them with less effort what big benefit they are going to have it in the long run. So once you establish that, it is much easier. I hope this answers your question, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And the next question, how we can convince others? It might be convincing audience, or it might be the convincing the people who is having something like negative thoughts also, right? So in personal communication also. So what are the ways you are suggesting, sir?
See, the first, psychologically, the first thing they say, even philosophically, they say, you cannot convince a person with which you are not convinced. The first thing that I have to do is like, I have to see myself, am I 100% convinced with what I'm talking? Even if I'm 90% convinced, it will be very difficult for me to convince the other person. I have to be 200% convinced of what I'm talking and what I'm believing. Only then I can convince the other person. Number one, that's the first major thing. Second thing is that listening to them. Okay, you have to understand what they need and making them speak, prompting, asking them, making them to ask questions, and then getting into conversation. Then telling them, we have this solution relevant to what problem they have. Then it is easier for us to convince them rather than forcing them. It is always easier to get the answer from them and tell them this is the solution we have. So rule number one, you be convinced 100%. Rule number two, understand what is their need, and based on that, give your conviction. So these are the two things.
Thank you, sir. I think the questions, audience, participant, your questions are over. I think it is over, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I had a really great energetic session. See, the one of the tools of psychology is that I don't have to look at your face. Just by your replies on the chat and how busy you are on the chat shows how how much you are engaged in the session. I'm very happy and glad to to talk with elite minds and elite people in a very short span of time. Thank you so much, and wish you all a wonderful future and wonderful life ahead. God bless you all. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable session. Communication is the transfer of information from one person to another. Is the sharing is enough? No. The good communication is bridge between confusion and clarity. Today we have seen women and men communication, what exactly the difference between those neuron communication wise, the cultural environment, and Sir has covered the details about the mirror neurons, and also the effective communication, which is very important. In today's session, we saw that effective communication is only 20% what we know, and 80% how we feel about what we know. So it is communication is not beginning from words, and it begins from thoughts. It's very wonderful, sir. And sir also taught when we need to talk and when we should not, and also the positive thoughts and positive communication is not only enough for oneself. We should think for other people also without any prejudgment. And also we saw about the verbal communication. It starts from belief system, knowledge, confidence, and enthusiasm, and non-verbal communication, and also the barriers in communication. It was really very wonderful session, sir. In the short time, we have covered so many things, and really your session was really very valuable to everyone and us. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence.
Thank you, ma'am. And I find a couple of us are asking for numbers. Can I share my number, or can you share the numbers with them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
you can share in the chat, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, once again, thanks for the coordinators and all the people who have done a wonderful job here. Thank you so much. And sharing my number. And sure, we do keep in touch. Thank you all. See you all. Bye. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I hand over the session to Pallavi.
Thank you, Nalini. A sculptor is a person obsessed with the form and shape of things. We have a very special guest today. We heartily welcome our beloved chief guest for the today, Dr. R. Ilangovan, Professor and Head, Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, MEENAKSHI Academy of Higher Education and Research, deemed to be University, Chennai. Sir has completed MSc Yoga, MA Psychology, MA History, MA, Masters in Physical Education, MPhil, PhD, and recently he has received the Doctor of Literature and then DSYM NS certificate. He is having more than 39 years of teaching experience in schools, colleges, and universities, having more than 33 years of experience in colleges and universities, and having more than 33 years of experience in administrative experiences also, especially in the physical education and yoga. He served as the member of BC's convener committee, registrar, finance officer, controller of examinations, director of distance education, and member syndicate twice, finance committee twice, Senate governing board, steering committee coordinator of NAT, TNPESU, principal, SSPE. Sir is the first yoga professor appointed officially in the history of Tamil Nadu government universities and in the history of deemed universities of Tamil Nadu in Maher, Chennai. He is the first to receive Doctor of Literature in Tamil Nadu in physical education and yoga from a foreign university. He is the instrumental in the formation of exclusive yoga colleges in Tamil Nadu and yoga courses in affiliated colleges. He is also instrumental in starting MPhil and PhD programs exclusively in yoga, first time in Tamil Nadu. In introducing a number of innovative yoga courses in Tamil Nadu universities, Sir is also instrumental in reviving Masters in Physical Education, establishing research center and first PhD approved guide in physical education at MKU. He has also been the instrumental for signing memorandum of understanding with various yoga institutions from TNPESU. He has also been for many infrastructural developmentals and acted as a PhD level examinership many times. He has visited China twice, Hong Kong and United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Sharjah for academic purposes. He is a senior social scientist approved once by ICSSR New Delhi. He is a question setter for UGC NET exams in yoga, New Delhi, and member reviewing committee on textbook SCERT Chennai. He has acted as a member of jury in the National Yoga Olympiad organized by NCRT and Ayush New Delhi. Sir has acted as an inspection visiting team member National Council for Teacher Education, that is NCTE New Delhi. He is an expert committee member of University Grant Commission New Delhi on many occasions. He is invited live member of Indian Yoga Association New Delhi and secretary of IYA Tamil Nadu State Chapter. He is a senior vice president of Tamil Nadu Yogasana Sports Association affiliated to NYSF New Delhi. He is an advisor of NATESS India apex body NAT and acted as observer for NEET NTA New Delhi. He is a chairman and member boards of studies, member academic council and degree awards committee at various universities and colleges, especially in physical education and yoga, staff selection committee member at MDNIY New Delhi. He has produced 42 PhDs and guided more than 130 MPhil scholars, awardees, and 290 PG holders. He has produced the first PhD at TNPESU, Bharatiya and Karpagam University in yoga and produced a number of PhDs in physical education at MS University and MK University. He has authored 6 books and more than 30 lesson materials for distance education yoga courses. He has published more than 354 articles in magazines and scientific journals, that is 161, including co-authorship. He has presented more than 208 papers in number of national and international conferences, including co-authorship. He has organized more than 200 international and national conferences, seminars, symposium, workshop, online webinar. The list is bigger, but I need to read because it is very impressive and it will give us encouragement to do more things. So I will be reading some more points about sir. He has organized Yoga Mahotsav 2022 celebrations at Maher that you have recently been the part of that Yoga Mahotsav from the central government sponsored program. He has given more than 200 times guest speeches, special addresses, invited lectures as resource person and chairperson. He has done more than 45 programs in All India radio and television channels. He has donated rupees 1 lakh for endowment award for MSc rank holders. He has helped PhD scholars for getting fellowship. He has honored many awards and won many international awards in Lions Club International. With these incredible qualities of Sir, we welcome him for giving a lecture on yoga for stress management. We welcome you, sir.
Hari Om. Good morning to one and all. Trayambaham yajamage suhandim pushivardhanam urvargamiva bandhana mrityor mushriyama mridayare Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gives me immense pleasure to be with you. We express our sincere thanks to our management, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and other top officials, and also the audience of this great occasion. So my topic here is, as scheduled, yoga for stress management. So as you know very well, now this is the time that the IPL cricket matches are going on. So far, what Kohli, the previously captain India, he was under stress because he couldn't play that much well as he was once. And yesterday only he scored appreciable number of runs. So we can come to the conclusion that he was under stress till yesterday. Now he might have overcome from that stress. So what we can call stress is tension, strain, and pressure. It is a mental or emotional exhaustion. It is a worry caused by the problems of life. See, the purpose of our life is to lead a happy life. When will we be happy? If our thoughts are good, if our actions are good. In other way, if they are not there, then we have to face the problems, and our problems may be health-oriented, finance-oriented, emotions-oriented, and also interpersonal relationship-oriented. Now, if you go through today's newspaper, we could come across one research findings. 2 out of 5 married women faces domestic violence in India. Then that is a problem. That is the stress, not only for her, but for the entire family. So interpersonal relationships also play a vital role. And it is a pressure, stress is a pressure that can damage or make the physique lose its shape. It is an inability to cope with a certain tense event, tense moment or situation. There are two important definitions I want to quote here. One is from Hans Shelley. He is a Canadian psychoanalyst. Completely, he devoted his entire life exclusively. His research findings are oriented on stress. What he tells, stress is a non-specific body responses to any unfavorable effect. And also another definition from Frost, stress is a state in which the natural equilibrium of the body is disturbed. So you can recall that yoga is for natural equilibrium. So here, if it is being disturbed, then we call it as a stress. Stress is imbalance according to yogic literature. What the meaning of yoga, one of the definitions of yoga is balance. So here we can call it that stress is imbalance. So in order to overcome imbalance, we want to have yogic practices. So stress can be constructive as well as it can be destructive. Here, stress is the result of relationship between the person and the environment. Pollution, stress, junk food, and smoking are the major problems, major concepts of this environment. You could have come across 2 days back, just 1% of people breathe healthy air. That is we could understand. If you go through yesterday's newspaper, India is the #1 polluted death rate country in the world. 24 lakhs of Indians have been died, that they were died in 2019 because of pollution. Stress also, junk food also, and also smoking. 27.5 crore people out of 137 crore are smokers in India. And also it leads to lifestyle diseases, in particular heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. You know very well, ours is the #2 country in the world on diabetes. As far as heart disease is concerned, 40% of the people in the world, 40% of the people affected by heart problems in the world are Indians. And also obesity. If you go through a week back, obesity increased 138% in the last 5 decades. Over 12 lakhs deaths annually in Europe and USA alone. 1/4 adults in Europe are obese. It is an astonishing fact. It leads to cancer, that obesity, and cardiovascular diseases. And every year we find 2 lakh new cases of cancer. 13 different types of cancers are possible if you are obese. That is also a problem for us. So stress leads to loss of brain volume. It is responsible as far as 80% of all illnesses today. That you have to keep it in your mind. Stress is responsible for as much as 80% of all illnesses, like improper diet. That also we have to keep it in our mind. 86% suffer from stress globally. As far as India is concerned, it is 89%. Patanjali in Yoga Sutras uses the term klesha, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abnivesha. Avidya means ignorance. Asmita means egoism. Raga, attachment. Dvesha, aversion. And also abnivesha, that is fear of death. These 5, which aptly describe stress, which would be removed mainly by meditation, mainly by yogic practices. That 5 can be eliminated by having viveka and vairagya. Viveka means discrimination. Vairagya means progressive dispassion for worldly material pursuits. These two are the vaccines in your life. How we could come across Covaxin and Covishield like that, Covaxin, Covishield like that. They are the vaccines for COVID-19 pandemic. Like that, psychologically, these two are the vaccines in our life to lead a happy life. Stress cuts off the oxygen supply to the brain. Three major human systems involved are here: immunity system, nervous system, endocrine system. If you go through in your science books, you can come across 9 systems in our body. And among that 9 systems, nervous system plays a very, very vital role. And what is the plus point of yoga? Yoga closely related to promoting nervous system. That's why it is still popular in the world, because nervous system controls every other systems in one way or other. And also that you have to understand about immunity system. It is very needed term during this COVID-19 pandemic, that immunity system, that is 80% is being produced in gut area. What we could come across regarding that immunity system, when you do yogic practices or some other practices, and also if you have substances are produced in your mouth, that is immunoglobulin A and immunoglobulin M, and they activate the white blood cells in our body. When the white blood cells are activated, they promote the thymus gland and also the spleen. Thymus gland is very much needed for thymic hormones, thymosin and thymoprotein, and also spleen, the part, both are related to immunity system. And these are in active condition. The white blood cells have been converted into T cells so that the T cells can overcome those kind of problems like COVID-19 pandemic. And also you have to see to this important point, when stress mood elevating hormones get depleted, driven towards tamasic food items to restore mood. In turn, it leads to feeling guilty that gives stress more. See, when we are under stress, what we think that we can have some kind of food items, mostly tamasic food items would be more appropriately needed by us. And if we take those food items, then we will feel happy that we are coming out from stress. But it is not so. Might be temporarily you can be relieved from that stress, but again you will get more amount of, that is more quality oriented stress when you get those tamasic food items. So you think that you are being relieved, but actually you will be under stress more. That is the important point. So at this juncture, what I want to tell you, don't go for tamasic food items or some other unwanted activities. You try to be in yogic practices and sattvic diet. You withstand. Your mind is the number one to overcome your problems. So you control your mind, have it good activities, then you can easily come out from the stress and you can overcome that root level problems of that stress. This I want to quote at this juncture. There are 2 types of stress: psychological, informational, decision-making, slowness. Decision-making is finally decided at hippocampus in our brain. Emotional, threat and that is danger. Then it comes to psychological. You can see the chart here. The main cause of stress, faulty genes are the major problems. CRF1, PARC1, MACP2, FAAH, FOXO3, SIRTI, and GATA1. These are all the genes related to stress. And if they are inactive, then low segregation of ghrelin hormone in the brain will happen. That increases our hunger and also increases hunger because of fat if we take more food items. So ghrelin leads a major role for stress. If low segregation is occurred in the brain because of the ghrelin hormone, then there will be over segregation of leptin, that is in the stomach area. And also the over segregation of adrenocorticotropin, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol hormones in the adrenal gland. So these over segregation of hormones that also will lead to our problems. And what it will do, if over segregation occurs, then low segregation of prolactin hormone in the brain, again it affects. Thus less production of neuropeptide, and that is the chemical in the brain. So we feel these stress concepts. So in order to overcome these concepts, we have to be not to be under stress. So these are all the things. Genes affects our proteins. Proteins in turn affects our hormone secretion, and hormone secretion less or improper balanced, improper or imbalanced secretion leads to stress that you have to understand. Here you are seeing an important cause of stress, that is shortening of the telomere length in the DNA is the prime reason for stress. Meditation is the #1 remedy for stress in cardiologist. Now you can see the picture, that is the telomere, that thread-like part connecting your chromosome with your DNA. Suppose if the telomere, if it is lengthened, we will be happy. If it is shortened like your right side, then we will have problems, psychological as well as physiological problems. So in order to overcome the shortening of telomere leads to stress. Stress leads to so many other diseases. So in order to overcome that problem, meditation is the #1 remedy for stress according to Dr. Ornish. You might have known about Dr. Ornish. He was the professor of medicine, California University, and also he is expert in yoga, meditation, and psychology. His research findings on reverting heart disease is very famous in the world during 70s and 80s. And Bill Clinton, American past president, he was his client. What Dr. Ornish told, you just modify your lifestyle, then there won't be any problem in your life. That is, he advised low-fat diet as well as lacto-vegetarian diet. And he come across in later stages, he devised a concept of diet pattern that is being known as Ornish diet. So the person who is excellent in his medicine, he himself come to the conclusion that meditation is the #1 remedy. There are so many remedies, but meditation is the #1 remedy for stress. That is his conclusion. And there are so many other stress factors also: irregular and indifferent diet patterns, physical inactivity. You will feel wonder that 85% of the Indians are physically inactive. Negative lifestyle habits. That means 74% of the Indians are not at all taking any fruits or vegetables. Indigestion and drugs, health problems, endocrine disruptor chemicals, athletes and bisphenol A. These two are very pathetic and dangerous chemicals in plastic bottles and also food wraps. That if you have too much of athletes and bisphenol A, that there is a possibility of getting impotence and infertility. And also faulty brain activity, financial difficulties, daily hassles, improper environmental factors, family problems, work-related problems, catastrophes, major life changes, and also imbalances of Panchabhutas, doshas and koshas, energy blocks, and very particularly improper biological clock, that is improper circadian rhythm. So if you don't observe that system in your body, and if you don't have intact in that circadian rhythm, definitely you have to be affected by so many problems. And what my advice at this juncture is, in order to saturate your circadian rhythm, you please have your breakfast before 8 o'clock and also have your dinner before again 8 o'clock. That means around 7:30 it will be well and good. So that is the number one remedy for saturating your psychological clock apart from your yogic practices. Here you are seeing some of the pictures related to stress. If there is any impurity in the white matter of the brain, stress will occur. In the last session, someone asked the question on white matter, that is communication. So if your communication is to be good, your white matter in the brain should be perfect. And also Vishuddhi chakra, the nadis and chakras in that area should be pure if your communication is to be more effective. So what we come across here, the white matter is related to nerve fibers. This white matter will get improved naturally up to the age of 40 years. Natural occurrence, natural quality will be enhanced in your white matter that is needed for your better communication up to 40 years. Then you have to lengthen that period. In order to lengthen that period, you ought to have yogic practices and sattvic diet. There is no other go. So the white matter, if it is in an improper condition, means you will be affected by this problem, stress problem. And if your white matter is not good, definitely you have to come across cognitive decline and also dementia. That's why aged people are suffering a lot because of these problems. So in order to overcome this stress, you have to keep intact your white matter in the brain. In order to have white matter, you ought to go for yogic practices and sattvic diet. And also lack of balanced segregation of the mood elevating hormones such as dopamine, serotonin, and melatonin are responsible for stress. If these mood elevating hormones are not in proper segregation, definitely you will be affected by stress. You might have known catecholamine produces dopamine. Dopamine is like an all-rounder. How all-rounder is important in IPL cricket, dopamine is important for our life. So if we have proper dopamine segregation, we can have creativity, movements, learning, our behavior will be extraordinary, and also it will be a great motivating factor. So dopamine plays a very vital role in our life. In order to have good amount of segregation of dopamine, we ought to go for yogic practices and sattvic diet to overcome stress. And also here you are seeing the picture that medial prefrontal cortex and caudate nucleus are susceptible to stress. So you have to keep intact your medial prefrontal cortex, that is front part of your brain, and the caudate nucleus, it is at the center, you can see like a question mark. Both are to be in proper condition to overcome stress. And here you are seeing the parts of the brain such as striatum, anterior cingulate cortex, both are needed to overcome stress. And here orbitofrontal cortex, that is also in the brain, is if it is improper, you will come under stress. So you have to overcome. And also stress among the children shrinks amygdala. You can see a small part of the memory, emotions in later life. So yogic practices correct all these defects. Yesterday also they asked whether yogic practices can be given to children. According to yogic literature, there are certain practices are meant for children. If you give to that particular practices for children, you can overcome stress at very early age. Not only at early age, but also they will be good in later stage also. And also stress damages hippocampus, that is meant for learning and memory. Yogic practices avoid this damage. And there are so many symptoms of stress, that is what we call heyam, aches, pains, loss of appetite, feeling of sickness, constipation. Constipation, it is one of the very dangerous problem that can lead to any kind of disease in our body that will affect whichever period that we have, there will be affected. Whichever part the immunity system is weak, that will be affected. Boredom, irritability, smoking, using alcohol. And also what I told, that because of this alcoholism in Tamil Nadu, particularly in India, that is 2 out of 3 women, married women, are facing domestic violence. Alcoholism is one of the important factors for that. Giddiness, itching, nausea, agitation, and also absenteeism. Now you are seeing some of the remedies for stress management. Sattvic diet, walking, massage, acupuncture, Ayurveda practices, reflexology, autogenic training. Autogenic training, it is one of the psychotherapeutic method, and also using some psychological apparatus. Music also plays a very, very vital role. In order to have your mental acumen, it is very essential to overcome this stress. There are so many ragas are available. See, one raga is Desh. Tumbam nergayil yaaduthu inbam serka mataya. So this comes under Desh raga. And also there is another song in Ananda Bhairavi. தனிமையிலே தனிமையிலே இனிமை காண முடியுமா நள்ளிரவினிலும் சூரியனும் தெரியுமா. That is Ananda Bhairavi. And another one raga is there, Indola Ragam. If you listen the music, or if you sing that song in that Indola Ragam, definitely you can overcome stress. Margazhi Pooye, Margazhi Pooye, Unmadi Mele, Urula Vendum. Mettamil Kangal, Mudavum Illai, Unadi Serdal, Kanavugal Kollai. That is on Indola Ragam. And there is some other ragas are there, Reti Gauda, and also Ahir Bhairav, and Darbari Kannada, and Shasana. So these are all some of the ragas. These songs related to its ragas, if you listen, and definitely you can overcome this problem. And also sufficient rest you have to give, social support you have to have, yogic practices including meditation, no need to emphasize, and the holistic approach is needed. This is the trend. See, there are more than 5,000 systems are there for therapeutic, in the therapeutic area. So it is the duty of the yogic practitioner, yogic trainer, yogic coach, yoga therapist. You should know everything. And the holistic approach, you have to give it to your patients. That is the major important concept that you have to understand. For example, in China, if there is a problem, heart problem means, hypertension means, they used to have allopathy medicine, and also they will have yoga, and they will use some herbal science materials, plants. So we have to have holistic approach. We should not be having a narrow-minded concept. And also we can measure the degrees of stress by MRI scanning, PET test, DNA test. We can measure stress here. Amount of cortisols also can be measured through serum, urine, saliva, and also this by hair also we can find certain things. And for your kind information, we have already seen that if you have problems in that, if you are stressed, you can go for leptin hormone and also cortisol test all. And if it is leptin hormone, you have to spend around 33,000 rupees per test. And related to cortisol means it comes under 5,000 rupees like that. So here also you can go for MRI, PET test, and positron emission tomograph, and also DNA test. This will be good for you to detect how much you are having stress. And the blood sugar, BP systolic, heart rate are the important other stress markers. So many research scholars are here. So if you have taken the stress, you ought to have these kind of tests in your mind. And it is for your kind information. See, all the problems mainly can be set right off the yogic practices as well as diet. See, in my personal opinion, if you have some problems, I suggest mainly the two important remedies, two important therapeutic areas to overcome stress. One is yogic practices and second one is having sattvic diet. Other things will be later on. 60% of your stress would come out, would be overcome by yogic practices or some other physical exercises. 40% is decided by diet. So 60-40. So it covers 100%. So you can't avoid yogic practices as well as sattvic diet. Here there are so many benefits. You can go through the benefits. Some of the scientific facts I have given. It has more hesperidines, polyphenol, flavonol, the health-giving chemicals are there all, which have more antioxidants to avoid discomfort. And the sattvic diet has more phytonutrients, the chemicals and vitamins to flush out free radicals, the dangerous chemicals. Sattvic diet has low glycemic index, which means it releases energy into bloodstream perfectly with optimal level. And good diet, proper diet raises your basal metabolic rate at optimum, BMR, what we call. Nitrogenesis takes place to produce new cells. It is a mood enhancer, producing the natural hormone secretions such as dopamine, serotonin, and melatonin. Proper diet provides ligands, that is special molecules that turn on disease-fighting genes and turn off those that cause disease. See here why I am giving that much importance to sattvic diet. It is for your kind information. 97% of the diet fails. That is, they are not good diet. And the leafy vegetables, if you take once in a day, your longevity will go up for 11 more years. And already I told you, 83% of the problems are because of the diet only. It is very sad statistics to understand that only 42% of the Indians are taking proper diet. Other 58 are having negative diets, that is improper diets. So it is very, very important to have proper diet in the first 5 years of the children. First 5 years, what you are giving, that decides the whole life of the children. And what I emphasize, you ought to have 3 vegetables and 2 fruits daily. Why I am telling these importance? It produces nitric oxide. When you take proper vegetables and fruits, they produce nitric oxide that is needed for promoting immunity power. recently you can come across. So when you do pranayama practices, mainly, and when you do these when you take these kind of proper diet patterns, definitely you can get improved your nitric oxide level that promotes your immunity power. Very particularly, these two helped a lot during COVID-19 pandemic. And very particularly as far as diet is concerned, some of the diet items during COVID-19 pandemic was very, very popular, like our Indian, very particularly our Tamil Nadu food items, rasam, fermented rice water, and beetroot juices are very popular during those times. So you please don't forget that these concepts. Again, there are more demerits of that improper diet. That is what we call rajasic and tamasic. Accumulation of acids could be possible that add body odor, emitting excessive amounts of compound trimethylamine. Improper diet contribute to more than physical inactivity, smoking and alcohol combined. Both the three will be happening if you take more tamasic food. More ghrelin secretion in the brain keeps less leptin secretion in the stomach, and hence keep eating more. It is for your kind information, eating beef is 10 times more harmful than other animal derived food items. Please keep it in your mind. If you take tamasic food, it emits carbon that is mainly from beef takers than the carbs. Poor diet leads 90% of heart failure diseases. Poor diet causes 90% of all diseases. Garlic and onions, though they are having medicinal values, disturb the mind even more than meat. So we don't eat dead leaf. We don't eat dead vegetables. Then why should we take dead flesh? That is the questioning concept. And it is for your kind information, half cup of beans are very good for you. And also some of the sattvic items that you are having here. Nuts and seeds are having omega-3 fatty acids, which are in nerve sheaths to protect nerves and cognitive functions, as on in fish and chicken, and to overcome neurological disorders. Milk, curd, and dal, they provide as much protein as on in chicken. Soya beans contain twice as much protein as beef. Jackfruit is good for as like pork and meat. Groundnuts have 2.5 times more protein than eggs. Vitamin B12, which is mainly gained from non-vegetarian items, can also be gained from curd, buttermilk, cereals, and other dairy products to make red blood cells. So at the outset, according to Bhagavad Gita, sattvic diet promotes life, virtue, strength, health, performance, happiness, purification of inner being, and satisfaction. So what I want to tell you here, you take example of the very popular personalities throughout the world, in all walks of life, you take examples. They are all taking pure food. Mostly they are all sattvic dieters. Mostly they are all vegetarians. So please keep it in your mind. It means that I am not telling you not to take NB items. But suppose if you want to take chicken, you take 100 grams per week. Or twice or thrice you take in a limited way. Otherwise, you don't go for big way in taking those red meat. Mainly red meat is the most dangerous food item. And what we are having here, that is for our needed food items needed to overcome stress. That is very, very important here. So there are so many food items that you are seeing, like spinach, apple, carrot, banana, coconut, jackfruit. They are all super food items. All-rounders, they are all all-rounders. And also probiotic, whole grains. fiber-rich foods, very essential to overcome stress. Prebiotics, curd and garlic. Omega-3, avocado, nuts and seeds. Magnesium foods you take to overcome stress. Leafy vegetables, guava. Potassium food items, dry fruits and pomegranate. Zinc food, very popular during that COVID time. Milk and milk products, apple. Calcium foods, beans you take. Selenium food items, broccoli you take. Vitamin B, cruciferous vegetables. Here I want to mention how Surya Namaskar is important among all yogic practices. That is the king of yogic practices. These cruciferous vegetables are the kings of vegetables. So many benefits are there. They are all rounders. All kind of benefits you can get from cruciferous vegetables. And also watermelon, vitamin A it has. Milk products, cruciferous vegetables again in vitamin D, giving melatonin-rich foods and dopamine-rich foods, whole grains, dairy products, leafy and cruciferous vegetables. All you can take to overcome stress. And already I told you, if your food habits are good within that 5 years of your life, and if your habits are good within the 20 years, then there won't be anything to worry about your life thereafter. I'm mainly giving this to the parents. So now we can understand we have to avoid excess sugar, fatty and fried foods, salt, alcohol and all. No need to emphasize for you. And here we come across so many factors of Sigicha Krama. There are so many factors that you have to keep it in your mind. You may come across why we have stress like that. Panjabhutas plays a major role. Koshas, doshas, food items, nadis and chakras, nadi pariksha. So these are all some of the problems, factors that you can come across. You have to keep all these things in your mind. Then you have to decide. Keeping all these factors in your mind, you have to decide what kind of therapeutical concept that you have to go ahead. So there are some diagnoses. Yesterday you might have seen examining patients, darshana, observation in persons, parshana, palpation, touching, and prasna interview. This is very, very essential. Regarding pariksha, we are vyuham, we are having 4, hamam, hayam, hetu, hanam, and upayam. You have to understand. And also there are some directions of treatment as far as yoga therapies are concerned. You can go ahead with Langana. The treatment is very important parts. You may know many things about the factors. You are very good in pariksha. Your diagnosis would be good, but the treatment part, you have to understand certain Langana and Samana practices. So Brahmana means you have to activate, Langana to relax, Samana balancing act. So the patient should be treated for immediate relief for a particular cause. For example, if a person is obese, you can go for Langana. If the person is suffering with insomnia, TB like that, you have to go for Brahmana. So like that, you are having so many concepts. Patients should be treated for immediate relief for a particular cause. Mobility practices should be given at needed place, then give on multi-mobility practices. You please understand the yogic therapies. So what I want to tell, if you want to be, because the future is in yoga therapy people only. Of course, yoga trainers also. If you want to exceed or if you want to excel in yoga therapy, if you want to be a successful yoga therapist, 3 important factors that you have to keep it in your mind. One is you have to be knowledgeable. Second is you have to follow the ethics of yoga. And the third point is you have to be sattvic in nature. So if you follow these 3 concepts in your mind, definitely you can be a very talented yoga therapist. So the yoga therapist, immediate your attention should be to give treatment for immediate relief. Then you try for mobility practices. And then you go for promoting fitness and health-oriented practices. So Mandukya Upanishad, it contains twofold process of sadhana. When the mind gets to a state of drowsiness, stimulate and awaken it. As it starts speeding up and distracting sets in, calm it down. Do these again and again and keep it in your mind again and again to be a successful therapist. So there are so many yogic practices that are essential to overcome stress. As far as my experience is concerned, I have given so many practices which are very much needed to overcome stress. That is prayer, loosening the joints, Surya Namaskar, Vrikshasana, Viparita Karani, Matsyasana, Ushtrasana, Dhanurasan, Jatara Parivartanasan, Ardhamachendrasan, and Chachangasan, Kapala Bhakti, Vastrika, Nadi Shodhana, Mahamudra. It is very, very essential. And at the outset, it is meditation. So one thing you have to understand, as far as yoga therapy is concerned, props and modifications play a very, very vital role. Modifications may be done according to the needs and nature of the trainees or patients. And also you can use props accordingly. Now we are going to have the practical session. That is our PhD scholar, Kamachi, an international athlete. And also she is the YCB level 7 qualified candidate. And she got passed in NET exam also. She is going to demonstrate certain practices which are very much needed to overcome stress. Now I request Kamachi to be ready. Now you can go for Surya Namaskar. Kamachi. Surya Namaskar, you can go ahead. Have one round. There are 12 stations. So it is the king of yogic practices. The combination of asanas, pranayama, mantras, and meditation. A dynamic meditation technique, Surya Namaskar. It is good for all human systems. Body blossoms like lotus. It produces new nerve sheath. Diaphragm contracts downward if you do Surya Namaskar. Lungs also will get more oxygen. And it produces the effect of running and swimming. That is the plus point of Surya Namaskar. So it promotes at the outset cardiovascular system. So you can't avoid Surya Namaskar as far as stress is concerned. Next, she is going to do Vrikshasana. It is one of the important, why I am giving that much importance to Vrikshasana here, because it activates all the chakras. When you do Vrikshasana, you have to do in both legs. If you do Vrikshasana, having so many benefits, and also Vrikshasana, it contains all chakra activations, and it is equivalent again to running. That is the plus point of this Vrikshasana. Next, she is going to do Viparita Karani. So if you are good, you can go Sarvangasana. If it is not possible, if you are a novice or beginner, you can try this Viparita Karani. It balances all human systems. Abdominal breathing is induced. It balances Ida and Pingala nadis. It overcomes death. If you are very good, you go for Sarvangasana. Otherwise, you can limit with this Viparita Karani. 80% of the benefits you can attain from this Viparita Karani alone. Then after doing that Viparita Karani, you have to go for Matsyasana. Because the blood, most of the practices or most of the drugs in modern medicine, why they are giving means it activates, all the drugs activate 80% blood flow, remaining 20% only curing aspects. So if you do Viparita Karani, Sarvangasana like that, then the blood may get stagnated at your throat area. In order to overcome that stagnation and that stagnated blood should go into brain, then it will be fulfilled. That's why after Viparita Karani, you ought to go for this Matshyasana. It is good for immunity system, and also breathing becomes fuller, avoids postural defects, and give youthfulness. Next, she is going to do relax, release and relax. Then go for Ustrasana. It is on number one backbend asanas. There are so many backbend asanas, as you know very well. It is very much needed. It is number one backbend asana, deepest backbend of all, has innumerable benefits. All human systems are activated. It is good for especially elders. Activates Kundalini Shakti. Brain gets good blood flow. Now you can see that Kamakshi is doing her finest practice. If you can't do, you can adjust, you can modify according to your ability. That is the thing that we have to keep it in your mind. You have to release and relax. Now she is going to do Dhanurasana. It is yet another backbend asana. Why I am giving that much importance to Dhanurasana means it is the combination of Bhujangasana and Salabhasana. It also has so many benefits. Body becomes slim. There won't be any laziness. It is very good not only to overcome stress, but for diabetics and menstrual disorder. Very, very important asana for women, all women. So Bhujangasana, Salabhasana and Dhanurasana would be more beneficial for women at the outset. What I want to quote here for women, because they are very much, they are popularizing yoga nowadays, not only in India, but throughout the world. Sarvangasana, Salabhasana, and also Bhujangasana, and these Paschimottanas. These four asanas, you ought to keep it in your mind. When you do practices, you ought to go for these in your daily workout. And the next, release and relax. Then goes to Jatara Parivartanasana. Because these are all the things, why we are giving that much importance to brain and gut area, that is stomach area means 50 hormones are secreted in the brain. 30 hormones are secreted in the gut area, stomach area. That's why we are giving that much importance to these two areas. Jatara Parivartanasana, it strengthens intestines, abdominal organs are kept trim, good for excess fat, tones liver, spleen and pancreas. A great stress reliever it is. Lower lungs are activated, and it is the counter pose for modified Sarvangasana also. Release and relax. Next, she is going to do Ardha Majyendrasana. Ardha Majyendrasana, it is also having innumerable benefits. It activates inner organs. It is very good for freeing from wrinkles. Lower part of the abdominal is activated. Awakens Kundalini Shakti. Tones spine and spinal nerves, regulates adrenal glands, and it is anti-aging, regulates all internal organs. It promotes vigor and vitality. Then comes release and relax. Kamakshi. Now you can go for Paschimottanasana. So you should not do hurriedly the asanas when you do regularly. This Paschimottanasana also having innumerable benefits, increases vitality, cures impotence, leads to sex control, activates Sushma Nadi, it activates Kundalini Shakti, it is good for hamstring muscles, it is also sedative and very good for hypertension. Please and relax. Now, the very, very important asana is Shashangasana. As far as my opinion is concerned, it is also another all-rounder asana. Suppose if you don't have sleep in the night, they ask some questions, insomnia, sleeplessness. If you do these before getting into bed, going into bed in the night for 2 minutes at least, then you will wonder how you got sleep. That much important this Salabhasana has. It is good for diabetics, also insomnia, backache, very good for reproductive systems and adrenal glands. Brain is bathed in blood. It has calming and cooling effect, overcomes constipation, and it is very good for nervous system. Such an efficient and effective asana. Release and relax, Kamachi. If you want to have Savasana, you can have, because in Shashangasana also you got very good relaxation. Then we are moving to Kapalabhati Pranayam. Kapalabhati is a natural anesthesia, prevents old age. Padmasana destroys all diseases if you do Kapalabhati. This, depending upon your experience, you can go for 20 strokes or 32 strokes or 64 strokes or 120 strokes, depending upon your experience. And if you do Padmasana, it is very effective. Why I am telling Padmasana is very good for all kind of diseases. And when you do Kapalabhati with that, then no need to worry about any kind of diseases. And also it is very good for blood pressure, baldness, and also impotence. Get ready for Bastrika Pranayam, Kamachi. And it is one of the most powerful pranayama practice. It would be better if you do it in Vajrasana, because that will aid your digestion also. It burns toxins, activates Sushma Nadi, nadis are purified, and also it is very good for Vata, Pitta, Kapha diseases and activates Kundalini Shakti. Okay, you can do 15 times. Again, sets you can have repetitions, you can have sets as per your capability. Then we are coming to Nadi Shodhana Pranayam, Kamachi. Again, it has innumerable benefits. Yesterday also, the experts, they emphasized this. Purifies blood and nadis, awakens Kundalini Shakti. Siddhasana is good if you do it, this Nadi Shodhana, because Siddhasana is the #1 asana among 84 lakhs according to yoga experts. And Siddhasana is very good for attaining moksha, that is liberation, what we call freedom, according to Granda Samhita. It gives direct energy from Muladhara to Sahasrara Chakra. So that much important, this Nadi Shodhana. Release and relax. Then comes Mahamudra. See, one thing I want to emphasize here, if you want to do Mahamudra, it is also an all-rounder, like Surya Namaskar, like dopamine, and diaphragmic breathing in pranayama practices. They are all rounders. This Mahamudra also, it is an all-round practice. That is, you ought to do this Mahamudra only after asana and pranayama practice. When you do 1 hour schedule you are doing for yogic practices, yogic trainers, I want to emphasize here. You give Mahamudra, because almost all Hatha Yoga texts, they emphasize this. And if you give it after giving asanas and after giving pranayama practices. It combines the benefits of Shambhavi Mudra, Keshari Mudra, Mula Bandha, Kumbhaka also it is there, asana, pranayama and chakras, everything it comes, this practice. Awakens Kundalini Shakti, what we call cerebrospinal fluid, that is known as Kundalini Shakti. It is good for old age, siddhis, fever, digestion, all kind of siddhis you can attain, 44 kind of siddhis you can attain. It is good for glands, spleen, constipation, etc. according to Hatha Yoga Pratipika of Satvarama. Shambhavi Mudra is like a good wife according to again Hatha Yoga Pratipika. So please don't avoid this. And finally, you can have meditation. Meditation is the heart of yoga, as you know very well. Meditation does by soul. It is for the purification of mind by its electrical activity. It activates space elements, leads to thoughtless stage, blood flow increases, genes perfected, it saturates all the concepts of biological clock. You can see here how much importance this meditation. It purifies genes, it purifies and activates your proteins, it balances all kind of hormones, perfects your biological clock. Everything is being saturated by this meditation. That's why we are telling it is one of the important facts. That's why Arnish also advises to go for meditation. 20 minutes meditation is essential to have your maximum basal metabolic rate. And Sushma Dhyan is very good according to Granda Shamita. So what we are going to do, we are going to do a brief meditation practice now. Please keep ready. You be seated on the, okay. Now please keep ready. A few minutes we are going to do this meditation, one meditation technique, that is Raja Yoga meditation. That is very good for promoting your mind. So be seated either on chair or your table, or be seated on the floor. Be in any meditative asana at your convenience. Also, Chin Mudra you can have and close your eyes. Why we are telling close your eyes? 92% of your energy can be saved by eyes only. And why we are asking you to be seated straight? Because all chakras will be activated simultaneously. So be seated like this and have deep breathing. Watch your breathing at the tip of your nose. And listen what I am telling. You have to follow my commands. You know very well soul is important for us. We believe soul. All religions believe soul. The soul is, according to Hindu philosophy, the soul is placed at two places in our body. One is in between the two eyebrows and another one is at the heart. There are two vacuum places are in our body. So some believe it is in between the two eyebrows. Some believe that it is in the heart. No problem. They can have as they like. Now the soul, we are the human. So 99% of our thoughts are negative thoughts. We have to make it as a positive. In order to have positivity, we ought to eliminate the negativities in our body. So most of the physical negativities, waste products are stored in our joints. Most of the psychological wastages are stored just above your diaphragm. So anyhow, you have to rectify those concepts. So you now what you just listen what I am telling, then you can do. Now you are bringing all your negativities to your soul. You think that it is rested in your brain, that is in between the two eyebrows, very nearer to pineal gland in the midbrain. Bring all your negativities. And now the soul comes out from your body through your eyebrows, two eyebrows. Now we are all in Bhulok. Now our soul should go to Brahmalok to meet our favorite God. Whatever might be your favorite God, let it be. So you have to fly like a bird, and you have to leave that negativities at Brahmalok, have all positivities in your body, in your soul, and come back to Bhulok. And keep everything intact at your whole body and spread the positivities to your neighbors and friends. So this will be the concept. So before getting into this meditation, let me request you to do Nadi Shodhana for 10 rounds. Please do. Start with left nostril. Inhale through left nostril. Close the left nostril. Open up your right nostril. Exhale from your right nostril. Again inhale through right nostril. Now close your right nostril. Open your left nostril. Exhale through left nostril. After complete exhalation, again inhale through left nostril. Like that you have to alternative breathing. You do alternative breathing. 10 rounds you do. Close your eyes, look straight, watch out your breath. Why I am telling this should be done? In order to activate your Sushma Nadi, in order to balancing all chakras. Want to go for Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Okay, you think that you had done 10 rounds. Now you follow my commands. Close your eyes, listen my commands and do accordingly. Bring all your negativities to your soul. The soul is your light. Soul is the God. Is the light. Light is the God. For the God. Now your soul comes out in between your two eyebrows. It flies like a bird. It flies from Bhulok to Brahmalok. It goes up. Your soul is the pure and perfect, powerful. Soul is the light. Light is the God. All are powerful, pure. Your soul flies like a bird, cut across the clouds, cut across the space, cut across the moon, cut across the sun, cut across the stars, and slowly it gets into Brahmalok. It is a new experience for your soul. What a fantastic world that is. Fully light and reddish. Very impressive. Very happy you are seeing that Brahmalok. How much eagerly you were waiting to see your favorite God. There you are, seeing your favorite God, witnessing the God. You are reaching towards Him. To leave all your negativities there and getting all the positivities what the God has. Now your soul is full of positivities. You chit chat with your God as much as you like. You roam and here and there, in and around of Brahmalok. After spending some time, you are coming back to Bulok. Again, you cut across the stars, cut across the sun, cut across the moon, cut across the space, cut across clouds, and your soul getting into your body through your two eyebrows. And you are spreading all your positivities throughout your body. Now you are so energetic and enthusiastic and very positive. Spread those good energies to your neighbors, your friends. Enjoy your happiness. Enjoy your silence. What a fantastic experience that is. Don't open your eyes. Slowly rub your palms, massage your eyes and shoulder, eye, shoulders and chest. Again, rub your palms 5 times, massage your eyes, shoulders and chest. Keep Namaskara Mudra and end the session with prayer. Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amiram Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly open your eyes and see the floor first and relax. Enjoy the moment. Be happy. Be energetic. Be divine. Slowly open your eyes and see the floor first and relax. Thank you very much for your patient hearing and enjoying the session. If you have any doubt, you can ask now. I hope that you won't have any doubt.
Participants, if you have any question, you can raise your question either in the chat box or you can come across. And
Sir, namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
Sir, thank you very much for the wonderful session, stress management with yoga, and also for the demonstration with Kamakshi. Sir, I
Louder,
have
please.
one doubt, sir. You mentioned about stress, everything, but we need a
Louder,
certain amount.
louder, please.
Sir, is it audible now? Hello? Is it audible now? Hello? Hello?
Wait, please, wait.
Hello?
Ask me.
Namaskaram, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Okay,
Hello.
you ask. I can understand.
Sir, certain amount of stress is essential, positive stress, which is called as eustress. So how to know that we are having eustress and distress, and how to promote eustress and reduce distress?
So already I told you, stress can be constructive or destructive. Could you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, okay. If it is a positive stress, that's what Shelley tells that it is a stress. And if it is negative, we can call it as a stress. So if you do regular yogic practices, sattvic diet, and also if you keep along with viveka and vairagya, those practices and your introspection, everything will keep you intact so that you can come out from, because stress, it can be for anyone, but you have to overcome. That is the plus point. That is the concept. In order to overcome, do all these practices and you can get relief from that and you can be a divine person like Shamala.
You. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
we have one more question, sir. Just a minute. Yeah, for enlarged thyroid, gland growing in the throat, what asanas, pranayamas, and mudras we should do? And please suggest some books not to do sarvangasana. Please clarify on that.
In order to strengthen your thyroid gland, that is related to Vishuddhi Chakra. So you ought to do that kind of practices, very particularly the inverted asanas. But it doesn't mean that you have to do only inverted asanas. So you have to, suppose if you are a trainer, you have to give all-round promoting asanas, pranayams and mudras. And a little bit you have to give emphasis to the thyroid gland areas. So one or two asanas you have to increase in that. And you can very easily to overcome thyroid. See, these thyroid problems, lakhs and lakhs of rupees they are spending. It is very easily you can avoid that spending money for that. It is the number one remedy, the yogic practices. Certain yogic practices, they're all very good because many diseases, there won't be any system to purify. But whereas when you do yogic practices, these kind of thyroid problems, thyroidism problems, PCOS, COPD, so all kind, yoga is the remedy.
What are the daily yogic practices can be given for children to increase dopamine and to increase their knowledge and creativity?
Are concerned, they are having balanced segregation of hormones in a balanced state because their theta waves will be active. Yesterday you could have seen beta wave, theta wave, beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma. So when you do the children up to 8 years, they will be having perfect segregation of hormones. They will be in theta waves, concentrated concepts that they will be having. So no need to worry. But this is the period that we are having so many unwanted concepts like junk food and pollution like that and all. There are certain practices. What Mohan Bhandari told yesterday, you start the maximum practices only after 8 years. But before 8 years, there are so many practices that what we call simple asanas, simple pranayama practices, basic pranayama practices, and yoga games, and even visualizing the body parts and antarmauna. So these are all the practices that you have to concentrate. And yesterday he warned you, don't give advanced asanas because the joints are not fully developed. So in that way, you ought to give, there are so many asanas are there. The books are available in Bihar School of Yoga. There are 3 books related to children. So yoga for children. So that books you can consult and you can have that kind of practices. Children Surya Namaskar are there. Children practices are there. So you have to do accordingly. That's why you are studying here. Why you are doing BSc Yoga, BSc Yoga Therapy, MSc Yoga, MSc Yoga Therapy, you should know what you should not give, what you can give, what you should give. There we are teaching scientifically at the basic knowledge of our traditional systems of philosophy.
We have one more question, sir. Could you please tell me the name of the meditation you have conducted today?
Raja Yoga meditation. See, Raja Yoga meditation is mainly related to promoting mind. So many are Raja Yogis like Vedatri Maharishi, Vivekananda, even Patanjali emphasizes mind. And Jesus is very good in Raja Yoga meditation. So this is very essential. So in a short period, even though there are 112 systems of meditation, we gave a small concept that is very, very essential. That is Raja Yoga meditation, part of Raja Yoga meditation.
We have next question. Can a senior citizen above the age of 60 can do Shirshasana?
So for senior citizens, you ought to go definitely yogic practices. Even it is better than walking scientifically. Walking is not bad, but for senior citizens, yogic practices are far better than walking. That is first point. Second point, if you want to, there are 2 types of aged people. One, they are learning newly, and another one, they are doing regularly. If you are doing regularly, you follow it. Even at the age of 90, Iyengar was doing Sirasasana for half an hour. If you are a newcomer, beginner, novice, then you have to start like children. Around 8 years, how they are doing, you have to do accordingly. Then you can promote. So mainly for aged people, for asanas mainly meant for youngsters, middle-aged people, pranayama practices are emphasized more, whereas aged people, you ought to have meditation mostly. That is our wish.
We have next question. How many minutes of Nadi Shodhana Pranayama one should do for relieving the stress?
So again, it depends on upon the person. Nadi Shodhana can be done by all. Of course, it is not like Ujjayi. You have to follow certain principles in Nadi Shodhana. For example, if you are a newcomer, you can start with 10 rounds, then you can increase accordingly. If you are very good in yogic practices, that means intermediate level, you can do it for half an hour. That I mean 15 minutes. And at the maximum 20 minutes you can have. More than that, no need to do. Even in Ramdev, the Kapalabhati can be done 1 hour for cancer patients. So when you are tired in doing Kapalabhati, you switch over to Nadi Shodhana. You do Kapalabhati. If you are tired, then you do Nadi Shodhana. After 5 minutes, again you go for Kapalabhati. Like that, you have to change. Primary also good. Primary also good. I'm not telling it is not. Because as far as my knowledge is concerned, stress can be because mostly by inactive. And also, if you are so workaholic. So in order to activate, you ought to go for Kapalabhati and Bhastrika. Bhastrika Pranayama, most of the Hatha Yoga texts, they are emphasizing Bhastrika Pranayama. Too much advanced asanas for children. See, there are certain practices. These advanced asanas, Kapalabhati, like advanced pranayama practices, mudras, bandhas, kumbhakas, everything should be after 14 years. That you please keep it in your mind. Because too much of anything is good for nothing. If you give wrong practices at the early age, then the children will be affecting at later stage. That is, especially the women, children, girls. In later stage, they may get affected by abortion like that. So you please avoid.
Sir, we have next question. Nowadays, people working against the nature, that means doing their job in night, even taking food after the 9 p.m. So what will be the effect they do yoga?
Very good question. We can't avoid night shifts, and we can't avoid these latest gadgets like computer, monitor, and other social media tools. Of course, it is good in doing early morning, but scientifically, what the rule says, you do practices when your body temperature is warm. Warm body temperature, if you feel like that, you can do yogic practices. So night shifts, suppose they are doing night shifts and they are taking sleep, as soon as they got from that sleep, within half an hour, they can start their yogic practices. Yogic practices and proper diet definitely set right your biological clock. No need to worry about it. That's why the plus point of yoga is to solve problems, to solve your difficulties. It is a handy, it is a God's gift. So wherever you're facing problem, definitely it will come and help you.
What type of food one should take who is having night shifts?
So night shifts, what I told, you try to accustom with food habits. That is around 2 hours before your work starts. Then in between, you can have snacks which are healthy. Don't go for fried items like that, domestic food items you avoid. And also artificial drink items that and all you avoid. So 2 hours before your work, you can take. Midnight, you avoid at the maximum. If you feel to have something, have some nuts and seeds, light nuts and seeds, and also fruits you can have.
I think all the questions are over now. So we will go for the summary. Yoga is a way of life. It is an art and science of life. We hear it all the time, but Sir has outstandingly explained in today's presentation. You are what you eat is an old saying. This is based on teaching from our Shastras, including Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Bhagavad Gita, and the various Upanishads. To acquire health and happiness, one needs to live a balanced life. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, the one whose diet and movements are balanced, whose actions are proper, whose hours of sleeping and waking up are regular, which means maintaining the circadian rhythm, and who follows the path of meditation is the destroyer of pain and happiness. The message which Sir wanted to convey through his presentation, which is validated by modern scientific research and analysis of data to reduce stress. Sir has also highlighted a positive effect of yoga practices on the structure and the function of the hippocampus, amygdala, frontal cortex, cingulate cortex, and brain networks, including the default mode networks. With this, I thank Sir for sharing insightful knowledge to reduce stress through sattvic diet and yogic practices. Thank you, Sir. We also would like to express our gratitude towards Kamakshi, PhD scholar, for demonstrating yogic practices with grace.
One doubt they are asking now, can we do after taking dinner? I told them not to take, but anyhow, you take 2 hours before getting into sleep, scientifically, understand? But biologically, clockwise, you take around 7 to 7:30, you complete, and 9:30, you go for bed. Suppose you are not having sleep like that, and light stretching exercises you do, a few minutes of meditation, at the maximum 5 minutes. Don't go for more, because if you do more practices after dinner, your cortisol secretion will be high, so that your mood elevating hormones will get suppressed. You will have sleeping problem. So accordingly, a few minutes of practices, no harm. Already I told you, do Shashangasana, a few minutes of meditation. Definitely you can overcome all kind of insomnia problems. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll meet you at 2 o'clock for further session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir. Now it's time to take a bio break. We will sharply meet at 2 o'clock with new dignitaries, which are international dignitaries, Dr. Michael Karasovich and Dr. Pramod Adi from Canada and USA, respectively. Thank you all for being with us. Please join at 2 o'clock with the same link.